Okay. Yeah, so I hadn't said anything deep as of now. I'll just restart it. What I had said so far is, hi Divya, good evening. Good. NCS Music, thank you so much. Perfect. So what I had said so far is coding, decoding, also known as cipher, decipher. So I was telling you that logical reasoning has two major sections of questions, right? In one of the sections, what you do is you read the instructions. There are a set of instructions and directions given to you. You convert them into an image form, okay, so that it becomes easier to understand, and then accordingly you answer your questions. So all these questions, sitting arrangement based questions, syllogism based questions, blood relations, directions, all these questions come under that category. But there is another category of questions where a set of data is given to you, right? Some data is given to you, you analyze that data and get a hidden pattern behind it, some logic which is being followed, okay, in that data. Once you identify the pattern or logic, you apply this pattern or logic to the given word, given letter, given number, whatever is given to you, and accordingly generate your answer and select it from the options. So coding, decoding is a question of that category, a topic of that category. We also have analogy, classification, series, all these topics belong to the same category, where the way of asking the questions is changing, but basic pattern is exactly the same. You are just analyzing a pattern, applying, getting your answer, right? Now, when I talk about coding, decoding, I also told you that it is based on numbers, letters and words, obviously, but words we don't study it separately as much. It is majorly a combination of numbers and letters only, but we'll cover everything today, right? So then I told you that there are 9 major types of coding, decoding which are seen in all competitive examinations. 9 major types, there are others as well. Now, these are the names for you. Opposite pair letter codes, letter coded with some other letter, letters interchanging with each other, meaning of the words change, addition of place values of the letters, Chinese coding, identifying message from codes, numerical values assigned to words, if then coding. Lot of topics and lot of subtopics to study, right? So what I have done is we have converted these 9 different types of coding into 4 major categories. Okay, we'll not learn them individually. We'll learn 4 major types of coding, out of which 2 will decide the complete coding, decoding concept for you. Everything, every possible thing I will give it to you. And the remaining 2 are just smaller extra versions which are associated with it. So basically you have to learn 2 major types and 2 normal minor types, single types. And in these 4 types, coding, decoding will be completely done for you. You will be absolutely ready for your examinations, right? I'll also tell you how to think and what all do you need. So when we start coding, decoding, or for that matter logical reasoning, there are some prerequisites which all of you need to have. Prerequisite means things which you need with you before you start your preparation. Okay. So these are the prerequisites which you require. What are the prerequisites? Firstly, you need to know the place value of the English alphabet completely. It should be there in your head, because coding, decoding, this is of primary importance. Place value means what is the place value? So if A is equal to 1, B is equal to 2, C is equal to 3, and so on and so forth till Z equal to 26. If this is what you have, you need to remember these place values. Okay. Please, it's a humble request. Don't depend upon mnemonics and short tricks for this. Apply your brains once, spend some time, you will be able to remember it, because I don't want you to fall into the category. There are short tricks here. I'll tell that to you. Supposedly, I want to write, let's say, metal. Okay. There will be a category of students who will say, okay, I need to figure it out. So I'll write EJOT first. Then I'll say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Then I'll say M. Oh, M is between J and O. M is 13. Oh, E is 5. Oh, T is 20. Oh, A is the 1. Oh, L is between 10, J and O. J, K, L, O, it is 12. And there is a category of student who simply does this. They know the logic completely. This is what I'm looking for. And for this, it will just take a little bit of extra effort. What you can do is you can draw a chart and stick it to a wall which you are, which you mostly see in your room, and just look at it. Don't have to do anything else. Just look at it, number 1. Number 2, when you're practicing, just try to recall. Everything will be registered in your head. Now, obviously, this is for the beginners I'm telling, okay? Those who are already champions, very good. You have to also know the reverse place value of the English alphabet. Again, please strictly stay away from mnemonics and short tricks here. To learn 26 reverse letters, that is total 13 pairs, You can't remember 13 short tricks. There are people who tell me, oh, Azad will remember A and Z, we'll remember Indian Railways INR, we'll remember shirt SNH INR. Don't do that. It's useless. I won't say it's useless typically, but to remember one thing, you have to remember another thing. Just put in some extra efforts, this will also stay with you. One thing you can do here is to find the reverse place value, what you will do, but firstly know what is reverse place value. So if I would have started my letter from Z, that is Z equal to 1, Y equal to 2, X equal to 3, till the time A equal to 26. If this was my letter English alphabet, then what would have been the place value of that letter? For that you can simply subtract your place value from 27. So once you remember this, you can simply subtract its value from 27 and get your correct answer for the reverse place value. Right? Let's take an example. Let's take a simple example. So for example, I will say K is equal to 11. The place value of K is 11. Now what will be the reverse place value of 11? So you will subtract 27 and 11 and you will get 16. So the reverse place value of K is 16. Alright. Now, what will be the letter at the 16th position in the normal alphabet? What will be the letter at the 16th position in the normal alphabet? When you do that, you will get that at the 16th position, you will have the letter P. So, K and P, this is the reverse position of K. At the reverse position in the normal alphabet, we have P. So, K and P are known as reverse letters. We call them as reverse letters. Also call them as opposite letters. Okay, what is the concept of opposite letters? All the reverse letters or opposite letters, their sum of their place values is always 27. Sum of their place values is always 27. What is the basic concept of this? How can you remember this better? So we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. 13 letters, divide that, 26 divided by 2. So next is 14, 15. So write it in the reverse order. So all these vertically arranged letters, everything, all these letters, each pair is a reverse pair, reverse letter pair. Now you don't have to write this each time in an examination. You can write this once, again, same thing, stick it somewhere. Keep reading, you will remember it. And keep solving, keep recalling, you will remember. Also subtract from 27, get the place value and then remember. That is also easy. Initially, you might have to work slightly harder, but then it will become easier. They are all reverse letters. 1 plus 26, 27, 2 plus 25, 27, 3 plus 24, 27, 4 plus 23, 27. Anywhere, 6 plus 21, 27, 8 plus 19, 27, 10 plus 17, 27, 12 plus 15, 27, 13 plus 14, 27. The sum of all these letters place values is 27. So they are known as opposite letter codes. Now, the next concept is addition of letters. If you understand that your letters are always running in a cycle. Why? So we start from A equal to 1, we go to B equal to 2, next is C equal to 3, and so on and so forth, we go till Z equal to 26. The good thing about letters is they don't stop here. Okay, they don't stop here. So they don't stop here. After 26, this will continue. This will become 27, this will become 28, this will become 29, so on and so forth. This will go until 52. Again, this will continue 53, this will be 54, this will be 55, so on and so forth. This will continue till 78. Right? This will keep on going like this. And not only in one direction, in the reverse direction also. So if they now ask you, that what will be, let's say, the 50th letter. So how will I find out? So the trick here is, if you have a number which is greater than 26, a number which is higher than 26, you simply subtract 26 from it till the time you reach a number between 1 and 26. You can also divide by 26 and take the remainder, but that is slightly more time consuming. So 50 minus 26 will give us our answer, which is 24. Okay, and that is X. So what is the 50th letter? The 50th letter is also X. Okay, So now if I have a letter with me, let's say I have W plus 18 and I also have C minus 21. Now I need to find the values here. So what will happen? So W plus 18, obviously you are crossing the barrier, right? Because W is 23, 23 plus 3 will give you 26. After that you are increasing it further. So what will you do? You will write 23 here. You can add them both. Simply add them both. So what will you get? You will get 41. But 41 is out of scope. So we subtract 26 and we get what? We get 15. What is the 15th letter? Is O. So W plus 18 will give you O. Conversion of your letters into mathematical numbers and then solving is always going to be easier for you, and it is going to give you your coding decoding concepts very quickly. How to perform C minus 21? So C is 3. Either you remember this value for C. Some people do remember. So 29 minus 21, straight away they'll get 8 and they'll write H. What if you don't remember? So whenever your answer is less than 1, you simply add 26 in that case. So remember this logic. Okay. So here 3 minus 21. 3 minus 21 will give me what? Minus 18 plus 26. This will give me what? Oh, sorry. Okay. So these are the basics which you need to understand and remember for coding and decoding. Basics means these are the prerequisites. We have still not started. Now we will start with the actual coding decoding concept. What exactly happens in coding decoding? What kind of questions are asked to you? Okay. So we have divided them into two major types, letter to number and letter to letter. Okay. So this is letter to number and this is letter to letter. Now in letter to number also there are multiple variations which can be asked. So what is most important is you need to develop a thought line as to what you think when you are actually attempting these questions. How to think faster so that you can decode the questions quicker. Okay. So we have three sets here. Can you see? These all three types of questions will come under the category of letter to number only. But then how do you differentiate? What will you think? Okay, what will you think? So primarily, if you look at this and this and this, there is some differentiating factor. Okay, so these are test questions actually, examples. So doc is coded as 4,15,311. That code is very impossible, right? What exactly is happening here is there is a very long number string associated to the word doc. And whenever there is a very long number string associated with any word, the primary concept which should come to your head is that each letter is coded by a corresponding number. It's just that, and they have just arranged everything together. Rule number 2 says that initially, if you are a beginner, if you are starting your preparation, okay, and if you are new, if this concept is new to you, if you don't remember the place values, even if you are an old student, okay, but still you don't remember the place values. In both these cases, initially, or if you are just stuck at a question, just write their place values below the letters. Always do that. So when we'll write the place values here, 4, 15, 3, 11. And we can clearly see 4, 15, 3, 11. The most common logic of coding decoding, they are simply writing the place values of the letters continuously together. Okay, so what will happen for crown? For crown, we'll have 3, 18, 15, 23, 14. This will be my code for crown. But there are variations here. What is another variation? Another variation is, rather than writing the normal place value, they will write the reverse place value of the letters. So for D, they will. Oh God, whenever. Yeah, just refresh it once at your end, you will be able to see it clearly now. I have just changed the internet settings. Okay, let me know if it is working now. Perfect. So whenever your word is coded with a smaller number, so there is some mathematical operation which is being performed on the place values of individual letters. So let's write it again. 4, 15, 3, 11. Now simply add them. The most common thing which happens. If you add them, you will get 33. Okay. So what will be the code for crown? It is 3, 18, 15, 23, 14. Okay. So 23. This is 29, 29 and 23, 52, 52 and 18, 73. Cool. So the code for crown is 73. But again, there are multiple variations. This is a very easy version. There are variations now. What else can happen? So they will either increase or decrease this by number of letters, 4. Or they will multiply this by number of letters, 4. Or they'll multiply this randomly, they'll just double it, they'll write 66 here. Okay, if it is an even number, they'll divide it by 2, something of that sort. Or there is a very important concept which happens. They will multiply this by or add or subtract number of vowels or consonants. They can also do one more thing. What they do is, they will add all the vowels separately, all the consonants separately, and then take their difference. So you have to remember these particular types of logics. Okay. The more you practice, the better you will become here. These are all the variations which have happened in the past, which have been asked in the past, and somewhere or the other, these mix and match, they will ask this only. Okay. Similarly, we can apply it here. Now, there is another concept here. If this does not work out, the next thing, which is a very obvious thing, is you take their reverse place values and get the sum. So what are the reverse place values? So we have 23, we have 12, we have 24 and we have 16. Now you add them, so you will get 75 here. Okay. So now they could have written doc is 75, and the same variations can be brought in here also. So what is that one extra thing which we saw right now? We saw the concept of vowels and consonants. This is something which you need to remember. Vowels and consonants. This is a very common variation which they bring in questions and students can't catch it. There is another variation which happens, very important variation, which is based on even and odd. So either you can say even and odd positions. This is first position, second position, third position, fourth position. So first and third are odd positions, second and fourth are even positions. So that is alternating. Or this is 4, 15, 3, 11. So this is an even place valued letter. These three are odd. So these three will work differently, this will work differently. Okay, so this they can do it, they can do variations based on even odd also, or based on vowels and consonants also. They do one more very classic variation where for the consonants they will code normally, but for vowels they follow this concept. A, E, I, O, U will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this is not place value, they are just positions of the vowels. So if you look at a word, with vowels in it. Vowels will be coded separately and the consonants will be coded separately. These are all the variations which you need to know beforehand. If you know them, then your solving becomes easier. Okay, I am telling you variations which normally students pick up after a lot of practice. If you know the variations beforehand, practice will become easier for you. Now let's move on to the third type here under letter number. So here you can see what is the thought process which you need to have. If your question word, if the letters of your question word are all hidden in your given words, in these cases, then 90% of the cases it is substitution coding. Substitution coding means each letter stands for the corresponding number. There is no place value, nothing is going on. D represents 1. You can check this. OCK is 234, 234. So that means the code for D is 1, L is 5. So what is the code for cool? This is COOL. So this is 3225. And what is another variation here? Instead of numbers, they can use symbols here. So they can give you hash, @ exclamation and dollar. Okay. And then they'll give you ampersand, @ exclamation, dollar. So now find the code for cool. So it is exclamation, @ ampersand. Same variation. Instead of numbers, they'll give you symbols. Okay. Now let's move on to the next type, that is letter to letter. When I talk of letter to letter, the primary concept here, again we have three sets here. What is happening here? D is coded by W, O is coded by L, C is coded by X, K is coded by P. Mostly it is corresponding, but it may not be necessary. If you observe, if you are very well versed by now, so you will understand that this is reverse coding. Simply reverse coding is happening. So what will be the code of crown? It will be XILDM. Correct? Simply reverse letters. Simply reverse letters. Perfect. Very good. But again, this is very easy. What are the possible variations? More the variation, the more difficult it can be made. So here, rather than taking simple reverse letters, they can do reverse +1 or reverse ±1 or reverse ±2. Mostly they will limit in this region only. Okay. So rather than writing XILDM, they can do reverse +1. So they will say reverse is X, that is 24. You will write Y. Then I you will write J. L you will write M. D you will write E. And M you will write N. Now for a lot of people you think that, oh, this is very easy. But because you don't know this, now directly you have to convert. This becomes a challenge. Okay. So they can do this. In the next case, this is one of the most popular and easy cases. So if you can't figure something out, just write the place value. So we have 4, 15, 3, 11. We have 5, 17, 6, 15. Now 4 plus 1 is 5. So 15 plus 2 is 17. 3 plus 3 is 6. And 11 plus 4 is 15. So we are just adding the corresponding position of the letter. So what will be the code for crown? So this is 3, 18, 15, 23, 14. If I add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So if I add 1 to 3, I'll get 4. 2 to 18, I'll get 20. 3 to 15, I'll get 18. 4 to 23, I'll get 27. And 5 to 14, I'll get 19. So what will be the letters which I'll get? I'll get D, T, R and S in the end. What about 27? So the moment letter is greater than 26, you subtract 26 from it. You get 1. So you will get A here. So this is the code following this coding, following this coding. But again, this is not the one version only. This is a very easy version. This is the most popular type of question asked under number to letter, letter to letter. What all variations can happen? They can simply increase or decrease by 1, by 2, by 3, by 4, by 5 or any number for that matter. They can, sometimes they'll multiply, they'll just double this also. Sometimes it's possible. They write 8, 3, 0, 6, 2, 2. They can do that. So everything is possible. They'll add it by this, they'll subtract, they can multiply. Anything and everything is possible. One of the most popular concepts is digit. So you will remember another concept here is digit based. What happens in digit based coding? Supposedly I have let's say W. W is 23. So I'll say 2 plus 3. I'll get 5. So I'll write E. So W will be replaced with E. Very popular type of coding. Okay, but students cannot get that. So I'm giving you everything possible. Every possible variation has been given to you from all the previous year questions in SSC CHSL, CGL, CPO. Wherever they're asking you difficult questions, I have got everything and put it across right here. The last variation becomes the most important variation and it holds the key to the complete concept here. I'll tell you why. Dance is coded as adneck, so socks will be coded as what? What is the logic here? The logic basically says that, how will you think? If your coded word has all the letters of the given word, that means it's only simply based on shuffling, nothing else. So how will we shuffle this? Divide, divide. So 2 letters, 1 letter, 2 letters. You flip this, this is as it is, you flip this. So this is ADNEC. So what will be the code for socks? It will be OSCSK. Now why did I say this is the most important and this holds the key? Because now is where we draw the actual meaning of coding decoding. An examiner knows that all these parts are there and students are already aware about this. Okay. And if you must have observed, solving them singly type wise was very easy. So what does the examiner do? The examiner picks. They can take this one, this and they'll mix all these 3 codes to form a new code. So the idea is these questions may seldom be asked from a single type. They are always mixed. 2, 3, sometimes rarely 4 different types are mixed together and the question is put across to you. So a bouquet of codes is presented. You have to figure out all the codes simultaneously and then give the answer. Remember, coding decoding is one of those topics which does not have a cap. So from being very easy and direct, it can become very complex and time consuming. The decision is, if it is very easy, you will solve it very quickly. If it is difficult, time consuming, complex, you will just leave it. Don't unnecessarily get into the trap. If it is somewhere in the middle, if it is a moderate question, then you can spend some time once you're done with other questions. Okay, so they can take you to any level, right? So this is the concept behind, basic concept behind coding decoding. 70 to 80% questions will be based on this only. Now we'll have 2 more types here. Okay, we'll have 2 more types here. After this, there are 2 smaller types of questions, individual types of questions. Okay, very good, Anurag, excellent. So the next one is word to word coding. Now this becomes challenging for a lot of students who have just begun, who have just started their preparation. For those who are already doing it for quite a long time, this is not problematic. So this is the kind of question which comes across. If white is called blue, blue is called green, green is called red, red is called yellow, yellow is called black, black is called grey, then what is the color of blood? So what do most of the students do? I'll tell you all the types of variations which happen in this question. First variation says that I don't care about the question. This is given to confuse me. They are asking me the color of blood, the answer will be red. They mark this. Obviously, it is the incorrect answer, because what's the point of giving you the code? The second category of students says that, okay, green is called red. So my code will be green, right? The color of blood is red. Green is called red. So my code will be green. They are also simply incorrect. There is a third category who is the most common category, but is very close to the answer. They say the answer will be grey. Why? They'll say the color of blood is red. Red is called yellow. Yellow is called black, black is called grey. So my answer will be grey. No, this is also incorrect. Why? So how to solve this question? You will pick up your question, what is the color of blood? You will see in this code, the color red is called yellow, and that's it. You will get your answer. So in these types of questions, what exactly are they trying to tell you is the first word is usually the name of the color itself, and the second one is the coded name. Second one is the coded name, name in the new code. So white color is coded as blue, comma blue. This is an illusion of a continuity being given to you, but this blue is a color, actual color blue. This is just the name blue which is given to white now. So this actual color blue is called green. This actual color green is called red. So this actual color red is called yellow. This is your answer. Okay, easy. No rocket science. Now you can easily track these kinds of questions. But then what is the challenge here? The challenge is here. Okay. Whenever you see a word is called as, or is called simply, or is named, or is known as, or whatever. In all these cases, we have the color first and the name is next, like this. But if you use the word means or implies in between, then it switches. It totally switches. Your name will come first and your color will come next. So instead of red is called yellow, if this was yellow, red means yellow, you could not have chosen yellow as your answer. Why? Because red means yellow means, what does this imply? Red means yellow. Means when I am using the name red, I imply the color yellow. So then the color is second, name is first. In that case, green would have been my correct answer. Green means red. Then I would have chosen green for this question. Do you understand the difference? This difference is very important because a lot of people teach you only this aspect and this question. And when in the exam you see means here, you lose your marks. So be careful. This is the only one variation which you need to be careful about here. Nothing else. Apart from that, this is a very easy type. The third type is, the fourth type is coding decoding, Chinese coding. This is important. Up until a very good stage, there used to be difficult questions which used to be asked from Chinese coding and a lot of time consuming questions. Okay. So what changed now? See, we'll first understand what is Chinese coding. Chinese coding, if you look at these are simple codes, these are simple phrases or sentences given to you. Juice is sweet, sweet and sour, he is good. And there are their counterparts, coded counterparts given. Suki lu, paki no, go sufe. So they're asking you the code of juice. A lot of students who are new aspirants fall in the trap. They say, okay, juice is coded as su, is coded as ki, sweet is coded as lu. No, that is not right. Why is that not right? You are lacking an observation here. If you see, su is here, su is also here, but there is no juice here. So this is how you have to observe. So how will you code this? You will code by taking common. You will read the first two sentences together. What is common in English? You will say sweet is common here. And what is common in this code language? You will say ki is common here. So now I know very clearly that the word sweet is coded as ki. I need to find out the code for juice. Either I should have had another word with another phrase with juice in it, or I'll have to eliminate is in sweet. So I've looked for sweet, and if I look for first and third, I can see is the common one. So su is the common one. So I'll say is equal to su. So I'll remove both of them. I'll be left with juice and lu. So the code for juice for me in this question will become lu. It is that simple. But it is time consuming. If you solve it with this method, you'll end up wasting a lot of your time. See, whenever an examiner gives you a question and the examiner wants you that maybe in 60 minutes I want you to solve 100 questions, or maybe in 1 hour I want you to solve 2 hours I want you to solve 200 questions. If that is the case, this is what they are thinking, then the questions will be of the level where you can actually solve them. Level means there will be some means to it, which you don't know. If your question is asking you a single word and it is providing options to you, then it becomes a cakewalk. But listen to this condition carefully. It is asking you a single word and there are 4 distinct options given to you. In that case, what will you do? You wanted to find the code for juice, right? Look for sentences where juice is not present. So we have it here in sweet and sour and he is good. So delete these letters from the options. Why? Because they can never be juice. Simply delete them. Pa, ki, no. So ki is gone. Pa is not there. Go, Su, Fe. So Su is gone, Go is gone. What is left? Lu is left. Lu is the code for juice. It's that simple. Elimination can make it that simple. So first I explained the concept to you. Now the trick. But I told you about the condition. If at all one option is replaced by none of these, cannot be determined, or data inadequate, then you will have to solve it. Okay, because if you delete it, let's say one option is left and one cannot be determined is left, you still don't know, maybe cannot be determined can be your correct answer. Okay, so in that case, don't go straight away for elimination, try it with this method. So what is the condition? 4 distinct options and single word. Sometimes they'll give you 2 words here, which may be present in multiple options. If they are giving you 2 words, again, for one word, you can use this technique. For the second word, once you get the code for one word, you can eliminate the rest to find the second word very easily. So that is the logic behind this. Okay, this is Chinese coding. Again, there is a variation here. What is the variation? Sometimes instead of these Chinese versions, they simply use letters here, numbers here. So juice is sweet will be 527, sweet and sour will be 739, and he is good will be 543. Now they'll ask you the code for juice. So same method, you'll eliminate and you'll get your answers. But sometimes they give it to you in a different format. They will say juice is sweet is 525, sweet and sour is 534, and he is good is 224. Now they'll ask you what is the code for were. This is totally different. Or they might simply ask you what is the code for, let's say, anything. What do we pick up? Yeah, let's pick up that only. What is the code for were? Firstly, you will see there is no were in the sentences only. So this variation is based on number of letters. This variation is based on number of letters. This is the type of question which looks like Chinese coding but is not Chinese coding. Juice has 5 letters, is has 2 letters, sweet has 5 letters, sweet and sour 534, he is good 224. So were is simply 4. You'll get your answer and that's it. So remember this variation, right? These are all the major types and little variations which are involved in the topic coding and decoding. Okay. Clear? Got it? So that is the complete detail of Chinese coding. Maybe there might be some students who think that ye nahi aata hai, wo nahi aata hai, this does not come, that does not come. To all those students, I'll tell you, stop doing selective studies. Selective study is not going to help your selection. This was a tight slap on all those people, all those students. The NEET examination has given a tight slap to such preparators, such aspirants who have actually not cracked the examination, right? So the idea is you are missing out on something. You are leaving something just because it has not been asked in the last 2 years. But when you are studying, you have to completely cover everything. Okay? When you are studying, you have to completely cover everything. Leave no stone unturned so that ensures that you are prepared 100%. Then whatever happens in the examination is different. That is not in your control. Right? Anyways, so coming back, we can wind the session here. Right? Because today's session was only a theory based session. So I have explained all the concepts and understanding of coding, decoding to you. We will continue tomorrow with good level of practice questions. So I have some good questions for you. Some are from previous year papers of SSC. Some are from previous year papers of RRB. Some are practice questions normally which are not from any previous year papers. I might put in 1 or 2 questions here and there from some other examination also, maybe IP MAT or some other exam where the levels will be slightly high. And then we will try all these questions in a single shot. Okay. I will try to limit the timer at 40 seconds only so that, we can solve more number of questions in a limited amount of time. So today was the first session of coding, decoding, a theory session. Tomorrow we'll convert it into a practice. So we'll continue with the practice session and I'll continue like this every week. So every week we'll bring in a new topic. One day will be theory, the other day will be practice, and we'll be done with the topic. And I've specifically done this so that because of the student demand. Students have asked me that please start a topic wise concept. So we are doing that for you. This question under logical reasoning tests your indirect association. How you can associate things. How you can draw a link between things, a relationship between things, and how you can analyze, right? So a link or a chain is created among relatives, and that is always in the indirect form. Okay. For example, there are two forms of relationships. The first form is a direct form, like I am the son of my father, right? Or somebody is my father. So he is the father, I am the son. It's a direct relationship, father-son. But I am the son of my mother's husband's younger son's father. I am the son of my mother's husband's younger son's father. Basically, I am the son of my father. That's what I am saying, but in an indirect format. Okay. At one place, I can say that that man is his uncle. That man is his uncle. On the other hand, I can say that man is his father's brother, or that man is his mother's brother. He's again the uncle. So at one point I am talking about a direct relationship, and on the other point I am talking about an indirect relationship. So what happens is, under blood relations, the questions are given to you in an indirect form mostly, and you have to convert the relationships and get your direct answer. Okay, clear? So questions like, if X is the brother of Y, Y is the sister of Z, Z is the father of W, W is the mother of G, G is the niece of P, how is X related to P? Something of that sort. Now, initially, maybe for 1 or 2 levels, you will be able to gauge easily. You will be able to gauge very easily. But as soon as you lose touch, as soon as you deviate, that is when the real problem starts occurring. Because after, as and when, the more the levels, the more confusing it gets for you to understand. So for that, we use the method of, the tool of family tree. So we basically convert the whole question into the form of a tree and then give the correct answer. Okay. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Very good. Now, under the category of blood relations, there are a few things which you need to know. So today's session, I'll be teaching you how to make a tree. Alright. I also have a list of basic relationships which I'll give, which I'll send to you in the next session. In today's session, I am only going to teach you what blood relations is all about, and we'll be solving a few questions. I have a good list where you can understand what are the direct and indirect forms of all the common relationships which exist. Right? So you can go through that list and understand better. I'll provide that list in the next session of blood relations in the PDF itself. Now, before we start blood relations officially, we need to have some pointers in mind as do's and don'ts. What you can do, what you cannot do, what you have to refrain from doing. Okay. So whenever you start the question of a blood relationship, number one, the first and foremost thing is never compare those relationships with yourself as the center. A lot of students who try to solve these questions on themselves, they make a habit, they build a habit. What they do is, when they read the question, supposedly the question is saying X is the father, or X is the X's father, X's father's sister's son. So they'll imagine, okay, it's me, my father, my father's sister, so my aunt, paternal aunt, that is my bua, and her son. Oh, it's my cousin. Oh, they're talking about Rahul. Oh, yeah, okay. Don't do that. There is a primary reason why you don't have to do that. It seems easy and you can solve some questions. There's no doubt about that. But you tend to make an error somewhere or the other because the examiner does not know you. Okay. In some cases, you might not have that relationship which is given in the question. Point number one. Point number two, there might be a gender mismatch. So the question might be from the point of view of a woman, but you are thinking from the point of view of a man or a male, or vice versa. In that case, the chances of making an error, are grave. So to avoid that, the primary rule of importance here is that you do not assume anything no matter what. So you do not, attach to yourself. You do not keep yourself at the center of your assumption of your tree formation. You will observe all the relationships like a third party, like a neutral person, like a third party. Okay? You will not get involved in the question. Clear? So far so good? Now, That is the first rule. So, do not compare with own relations. Do not compare with own relations. Point number 2. This is the most important point of blood relations. Okay. This point number 2 says, do not and strictly do not assume. Assume what? Assume the gender. Do not assume the gender unless specified in the question. So, do not read the gender from the name. If I tell you Rahul, don't assume it to be a male. If I tell you Priya, don't assume it to be a female. It's a very common thing which all of us do, right? If the question is saying Rohit's, I mean anything. Rohit is Rohit's sister. Rohit's sister is Priya. So here we are sure that Priya is the woman. Priya is a girl because she is the sister. But Rohit, a lot of people will assume him to be the brother, it to be the brother already, or automatically. And that is where you are making a mistake. That is where you are making an error. Rohit's sister. Rohit may be a sister herself. Rohit may be a girl herself. In the question, in real life maybe not, but in the question, the examiner does do this. That what the examiner does is that they can give you a male, a very normal, regular male name, and it will represent a female and vice versa. Okay, now why does this rule come into picture? Because we have a lot of gender neutral names also. So you actually should not and cannot assume genders with name. For example, I take a name Santosh. I take a name Pushpa. You're not sure nowadays whether it's a male or a female. It can be anything. So at your stage, you will never assume the gender unless and until specified. Now, how will the specification happen? Either there will be an indirect relationship given to you. Like I said, Rohit's sister Priya. So Priya is a sister means Priya is a female, that is for sure. Or they will use pronouns. They will say Rohit and his friends. Now the moment you see the word his, that means Rohit has become a male. Automatically we have understood that. Right? So this is the second most important rule. Do not and strictly do not assume the gender from the name. Remember this is the most important point. Okay. Guys who are watching it on YouTube, like the session and share it across platforms, guys, so that others can also join in. This demo session is for you to have a better understanding of the topic and how the classes occur at our end, right? So definitely hit the like button, share this video and subscribe to the channel if you are new, right? And do comment. You can cross question in the comments also if you don't understand anything. Point number 3. Point number 3. Point number 3 tells me that if I am using the word only, I have to be slightly cautious. I have to be slightly cautious. In what sense? So if I am saying A's father's only son, there is a possibility we are talking about A only. We'll give preference to A here. Unless we know A is a female, A's father's only son is A only. Okay. And A's father's son will be A's preferably brother. Are you getting it? So the moment we added only here, it changed. A's father's only son is probably A. Unless it is given that A is a female. If A is a female, then the only son can be some son, her brother. She is the daughter, so only one son. But if it is A's father's son, your first preference has to be A's brother, not A himself. My father's son will not be me first. It will be my brother. Priority while solving the question will be given to my brother. But if they are talking about my father's only son, then the priority will be given to me because I am not sure whether I have siblings or not according to the question. Till the time extra information is given in the question, this is how your assumption is going to look like. Okay. So the word only has to be taken into consideration. There is another point, a fourth point here, which I usually have almost stopped informing now, because it is not very important. Once upon a time, under blood relations, there used to be a question where they used to count family members. And I have brought one question for you in today's list also. So we'll see that. When you have to count family members, what exactly happens is a lot of students by default used to count dead members also. The question specified. For example, the question will say that A is a widow. Okay. A is a widow of B. That's how they start the question. A is the widow of B. A's son C and his wife D have a daughter E. How many male members are there in the family? That's the question. Okay, how many male members are there in the family? A lot of people end up giving the answer 2, because they say A is the widow of B. That means B was the husband, but he's dead. A is the wife. So they don't draw, they straight away start drawing the tree and convert it. How many male members? 2, and they give the answer. Do not count dead members unless and until specified. So that is why I have stopped teaching it, because they have almost stopped asking this question. But still I am letting you know here. Do not count dead members unless specified. Maybe in the question they might say, after giving you this question, they will say that how many male members are there in the family, including dead members. Living and dead. It can be written how many male members are there in the family, bracket living and dead. So then you have to count. Okay. So these are the do's and don'ts which I want you to remember. The do's and don'ts of blood relationship. We haven't done anything. I haven't taught you anything as far. So far I have not taught you any, valuable information as far as your examination is concerned. We haven't started officially yet. This is just a brief introduction of what you need to know. Okay, you have to be careful about these pointers before we proceed further. Now I want to ask you a question. Now I have given you 2 examples. Okay. I have given you 2 examples. Now you read these examples, both everybody. Number 1, Rajesh is the father of Suresh. Number 2, Sunita is the mother of Sakshi. Okay, cool. Now Rajesh is the father of Suresh. It implies Rajesh is the father, he is a male, and Suresh is his son. Correct? Rajesh is the father and Suresh is the son. Similarly, Sunita is the mother of Sakshi. So Sunita is the mother and Sakshi is the daughter. Correct? Yes or no? Just tell me, did you understand this or not? So from these sentences, we can conclude that Rajesh is the father, Suresh is the son, Sunita is the mother, Sakshi is the daughter. Is it okay, everybody? Yes or no? Please participate. Put it in the chat box. Take the pains of writing at least a Y or an N. Very good, Arvind. Excellent. So, I am very sure a lot of you who did not answer thought that, yeah, it's correct, it's right. Rajesh is the father, he is a male. Suresh is the son, he is also a male. Sunita is the mother, she is a female. Sakshi is the daughter, she is also female. Rajesh is the father, is perfect, this is given. So he is a male for sure. But about Suresh, we are not sure. Again, your brain tricked you. Just reading the name, you thought that Suresh is a son. Suresh can be the daughter in your question also. You will not assume the gender of Suresh unless the question specifies. This is the rule which I was talking to you about. Rajesh is the father of Suresh, perfect. Rajesh is a male. We don't know about Suresh. Similarly, Sunita is the mother of Sakshi. So Sunita is definitely a female because she is a mother. But about Sakshi in this question, unless it is specified, we are not sure. If it was written that Sakshi is the sister of let's say somebody, or Sakshi is the mother of somebody, then you would have confirmed that yes, Sakshi is also a female. Done? Understood? So this is important. You cannot assume the gender merely by looking at the name, and you have to build this habit inside you, because your blood relation is a complete question. It depends on this one important logic. Why? Because sometimes in the options it will be given cannot be determined. You will read the name, you will assign the gender, you will accordingly solve the question, you will get your answer, you will take and go. But actually the answer was cannot be determined because the gender could not be determined. Okay. Now let's learn how to make the tree. How to make the family tree. Technically, blood relations can be asked to you in various methods. Okay, the questions can be put across to you in various approaches, various methods. They can be direct questions. They can be pointing based questions or introduction based questions, that if a third person is introducing somebody and then you form a tree and find the relationship. Or they can be given in a coded form, coded blood relations, right? Any which ways they are given, always use a single approach. We will stick to this approach only. A lot of students use multiple approaches for multiple types of questions. You can do that. If you are free, if you are already aware, you are free to use whatever method you want. But trust me, if you stick to one method and keep solving questions regularly with this method, you will get very fast as this also. The benefit of this method is that this can be applicable in all types of questions. You don't have to learn separate methods for separate types in that case. Okay, even number of generations you can count from this, right? So learning the family tree, how to draw the family tree is very important. Now you will have to be with me here, okay? For the next 10, 12 minutes, 15 minutes, you have to listen to me very carefully, because once you understand this, blood relations is over. Nothing else is left. Nothing else for me to teach you, okay? Now, when I draw a family tree, I need to keep some pointers in mind. Point number one, I will always use the initials of the names, not the complete names. So if my question said Rahul, I would write R. If my question says Priya, I would write P. I would always use only initials in my question. Why? It saves time. As simple as that. It saves time. Writing Rahul is easier. Writing R is easier than writing RAHUL. No. And if I have in the question, if I have Rahul and Rajesh, then I can write RA and RJ or RH and RJ. That depends. You can use another letter to differentiate. Cool. So writing initials is always easy. Use the initials. Point number two, which is a very important point. If you want to depict a male in the question. So if you are aware that this person is a male or this person is a female, how will you depict them? Again, there are multiple methods which people use to depict the male and female. What I prefer is that if you know that Rahul is a male, you draw R and you write a plus sign on top. So you assign an index of plus, a power of plus. And if you know that Priya is a female, then you will simply write a minus on the two. That way it will become easier for you to decipher, to understand. Okay? That way it will become easier for you to understand. When you are reading the question, it will be clear to you that this is a male and this is a female. Now a lot of people draw a square around Rahul and a circle around Priya. So Rahul square means a male, circle means a female. But that there will be a problem with that. Supposedly you have to draw 10 males in the question. If this is the father of this, this is the brother of this, this is the nephew of this, this is the uncle of this. You're keeping on extending the tree. You're showing 10 members. Now you're very quick at drawing the square. So you're drawing like, okay, A is the father of B, B is the brother of C, okay, C is the uncle, okay. Oh. By the time you're reaching here, you will not be able to recognize or differentiate between a square and a circle. And that may become a problem. Okay. So it's always better to differentiate clearly, because unnecessarily you will waste time in drawing also. Every second is very important. The third point is the most important point for blood relations family tree method. That is the generation level. The generation level. Now I'll explain it to you what this is all about. Because your complete tree formation depends upon this one pointer. Okay. Now, whenever I teach blood relations to students, apart from this, I always teach one thing to them, that blood relations has an advantage in the regional and Hindi language as compared to English. Okay. And there is a very simple reason for that. Why? Because let's suppose I am talking about my uncle. So my father's brother is my uncle. My father's younger brother is my uncle. My father's elder brother is my uncle. My father's sister's husband is also my uncle. My mother's brother is also my uncle. My mother's sister's husband also my uncle. Okay. So there are multiple uncles on that level and I cannot differentiate between them easily. Whereas in my regional language, any regional language you pick up, or Hindi, every different relationship has a different name to it. Every different relationship has a different name to it. So if it was my father's elder brother, Tauji. Father's chota brother, I'm saying. Father's younger brother, Chachaji. Okay. Father's sister's husband, Fufaji. Mother's brother, Mamaji. Mother's sister's husband, Mausaji. Everybody has a different name. So it becomes very easy for you to decipher. So if you are good in Hindi and these relationships, sometimes if you are getting confused, just look at the Hindi version and try to solve it. If you are not good at Hindi, then there has to be an understanding. For that, the people who devised English made a confusion breaker for you, but that is only slightly applicable. They differentiated based on the words paternal and maternal. Okay, what is the difference? Paternal means your father's side, maternal means your mother's side. So if I am talking about my father's brother, rather than saying only uncle, I will say paternal uncle. If I am saying my mother's brother, rather than saying simply uncle, I would say maternal uncle. So that slightly removes the confusion, but still my father's elder brother, younger brother and my father's sister's husband, all three will be my paternal uncles. Similarly, my mother's brother and my mother's sister's brother, my mother's sister's husband, both will be my maternal uncles. So that has to be differentiated based on the question. Okay, but this helps when you go another step above, that is when you talk about grandfathers and grandmothers. In Hindi or regional languages again, your father's father is your Dadaji, father's mother is your Dadi, okay, and mother's father is Nanaji and mother's mother is Nani. You all know that. Now, in English again, father's father is grandfather, mother's father is also grandfather, father's mother is grandmother, mother's mother is also grandmother. Now, regionally we have different names. Somebody calls them Nana, Grandpa, whatever. Regionally in English also people do that. But in official English there is no such word. So again, paternal, maternal helps here a lot. Paternal grandfather, maternal grandfather, paternal grandmother, maternal grandmother. Now, after all this explanation, I have one question for you. See, everything I am explaining, there is a reason behind it. You tell me, before we proceed further, if I differentiate the words paternal and maternal, okay, what did these words imply? I have already clarified to you. Paternal means father's side. All relations on father's side can be labeled as paternal. All relations on mother's side can be labeled as maternal. So maternal aunt, paternal aunt, everybody is different. Now, if somebody is a grandfather, okay, then he has a son, okay, or let's suppose I'll show it to you like this. If K is a person, is a male, okay, K is a male, and he has one son, L, and one daughter, M. Okay, one son L and one daughter M. Now this son has another son O, and this daughter has another son P. Now you tell me, O is the paternal grandson and P is the maternal grandson. Who is the paternal grandson and who is the maternal grandson of K? How will we differentiate? Who is the paternal grandson of K and who is the maternal grandson of K? Tell me. Put it in the chat box, everybody. Who is the paternal grandson and who is the maternal grandson of K? Yes, anyone? Very good. Arvind already knows his blood relations very well. Huh? Good job. Now again, I am very sure those who have chosen not to answer at all, those who are just quietly observing everything, I am sure a lot of you have thought that O is the paternal grandson and P is the maternal grandson. Well, that is not the case. Why? Because the words maternal, paternal can only be used going upwards in your relationship, never coming downwards. Because paternal implies father's side. This is not K's father, no, this is K's son. K's son, K's daughter. So, paternal, maternal is above K. Everybody who is above K will be paternal and maternal for K. For L and M, there can be paternal, maternal. Okay. So, for O, paternal grandfather. For P, maternal grandfather. You can do that. But coming down, you cannot do that. Coming down, both of them, O and P, both are grandsons to K. Both are grandsons to K. You cannot use the word paternal, maternal coming downwards in your generations. Okay. So, with this, mostly all your confusion should be over now, wherever you get stuck usually. Now, we'll come on this point. We have not yet started. Okay. Yes, eminent educators. Absolutely. I know that this is a very common confusion, but hopefully it is clear to you now. Okay. There is no paternal grandson and maternal grandson. Grandsons or granddaughters are only grandsons and granddaughters because the words paternal and maternal can only be used going upwards in your generations, not while coming downwards. Okay. Now, coming back to the generation level. So, in a person's life, in any living person's life, the generations can be in 3 different directions. Okay. Direction number 1 is a generation above you. So, going on the top. Who is it? So, one step above is the just generation above you. That is your father, your mother, your uncles, your aunts, everybody. So, father's brother, father's younger brother, elder brother, okay, father's sister, father's sister's husband, everybody, and mother's brother, mother's sister's husband, mother's brother's wife, everybody is on the same platform. Everybody is one generation above you. But directly connected people to you will be your father and mother, that is a blood relation. The others will be, they will not be connected. They will just be shown in the tree. I'll show it to you. Everything I will show here. Don't worry. So, one direction is above you. So, one step above you is this generation. Next step above you is their father and mother. That means your grandfather and grandmother. So, both paternal, maternal, grandfather, grandmother, paternal, maternal, grandmother, paternal, maternal, grandfather, grandmother. Okay. 2 steps above them is your great grandparents, great grandfather, great grandmother. Okay. Grandfather's father, grandmother's mother. So, we have gone 2 steps, 3 steps above. So, this is one direction of going upwards from a central point. Next is sideways. Now, when I talk sideways, in this direction, all those people who belong to my generation will be a part of it. Like my siblings, brothers, sisters, my cousins, okay, everybody on the same line. So, my uncle's son, my aunt's daughter, all these people are my cousins, and my brothers and sisters, my siblings, will only be the ones who are my father's and mother's sons and daughters. Okay. So, remember in the question, if they use the word brother or sister, they imply your blood brother and blood sister. That means your real brother and real sister of the same parents. But if they use the word cousin, that implies that your uncle's or aunt's son or daughter. Okay. Not your direct brother or direct sister. Remember, they will never use the word brother for cousin or sister for cousin. Also, in English language, it's a very common policy which a lot of you fall into, is that you attach the word brother or sister after cousin, not allowed. Cousin is, gender neutral. The word itself is gender neutral. Cousin can be a male, cousin can be a female. You don't have to attach cousin brother. Oh, meet him, he is my cousin brother. Totally wrong. It's incorrect as per English language. Oh, meet him, he is my cousin. Meet her, she is my cousin. So, this her and him actually differentiates between the genders. That's it. So, this one particular answer can be given without knowing the gender. Even if you don't know the gender, but if the answer is cousin, you can still mark it without any issue. You will not say cannot be determined because you know that it is not gender specific. Okay. Now, we move on to the next level. The next level is, the third direction is below. So we had on the top, we had sideways, and now we have below. So immediately after this generation, the next generation will be sons, daughters, nieces, nephews. Okay, sons, daughters will be directly connected. Nieces, nephews will be my siblings' sons and daughters. Okay, another step downwards will be grandsons and granddaughters. Okay, so this is the complete scope of a generation gap of 3 generations, and you can add more if you want to, 3 to 4 generations or 6 generations for that matter. Okay, so this is what we have to understand. So how do we depict? So when we are showing a person who is above a generation, we simply draw a line upwards and we mention the person here. Okay, if we are showing a generation below, we simply draw a line like this and we show the person below here. And if we are showing a person on the equal generation, we can simply draw a straight line and the person can be shown either which ways. Okay, a lot of people draw arrows, not required. It's totally not required. Unnecessary waste of time. Now, once you have understood all this information, I can just give you a brief tree. Okay, because making the tree, as important as it is to make a tree, equally important to read the tree. You have to learn to read the tree. Okay, so now I will use some words. And simultaneously show how to plot that. Okay, so it will become clearer for you that how to draw it and how to read it. So first of all, I'll start with A is the brother of B. So A is the brother of B implies A is a male and is a brother of B. Brother means blood brother. They share the same parents. Okay, A is the brother of B. C is the sister of B. C is the sister of B. Okay, C is the sister of B. Done. A is the brother of B. C is the sister of B. Cool. How is A related to C? How is A related to C? So A is the brother of C because see, A is the brother of B. C is the sister of B. So A is also the brother of C. C is also the sister of A. How is B related to A? Cannot be determined because never at no place have I specified what is the gender of B. So B can be either brother or sister. So I will say cannot be determined. How is B related to A or B related to C? We don't know. But how is A related to B, A related to C, or C related to B, C related to A? Both sisters and brothers. Okay. Now the next one from here is K is the father of B. So father means the generation above. So from B we'll draw a line on top and we'll write K, and K is a father. So this implies K is the father of B. Now how is K related to A? Of course, if A is the brother of B and K is the father of B, K is also the father of A. See, it doesn't seem to be directly connected, but it is indirectly connected. So you don't have to draw a line each time. You just have to learn to read here. How will you read? That A, B and C are 3 children of K. K is the father, A is the son, C is the daughter, and we don't know about B yet. So even if you connect it with one person, it does not make a difference. But the connection will always be a straight line. If I wanted to show K as the father of A, I would have drawn it here. You never draw it in a slant way. Okay. Now, I want to write, let's say, D is the daughter of A. So D is the daughter of A. And E is the son of C. E is the son of C. So this is how I will draw it. D is the daughter of A and E is the son of C. So how is A related to E? How is A related to E? You can keep writing the answers in the chat box if you understand. How is A related to E? So A is E's mother's brother, that is maternal uncle. A is the maternal uncle of E. How is E related to A? E is the nephew of A, A's sister's son. So remember the question, how is A related to E? So you need to specify A's relation. A's relation is a maternal uncle. How is E related to A? So you have to specify E's relation, that is a nephew. Look at the question and then answer. The direction of the question is also important. How is D related to C? So D is the niece of C, C's brother's daughter. How is C related to D? C is the aunt of D. D is father's sister. So paternal aunt of D. C is the paternal aunt of D. A is the maternal uncle of E. Correct? Very good. Yes. Absolutely right. Good job. Now, how is K related to D? How is K related to D? So, D is father's father, paternal grandfather. And how is E related to K? So, K is daughter's son, grandson. K is daughter's son, grandson. So, E is the grandson of K, D is the granddaughter of K is the paternal grandfather of D, and K is the maternal grandfather of E. So far so good. Any problem, any issue? And how about D and E, guys? How about D and E? So I told you they may be on the same level. See, they are on the same level here, but they are not connected to each other. That means they are cousins. If they were on the same level and connected to each other, real brothers and sisters. If on the same level, not connected to each other, cousins. Cool. How many generations are here? So you will simply look at the number of horizontal lines. So line 1, line 2, line 3. So we are talking about 3 different generations here. There are 3 generations in this question so far. Okay. But the question doesn't end here. For a very long time, blood relations only involved these people. People who are directly connected to you, your father and your mother. All these people are your blood relations. Then there was another additional relationship added, which is usually at a later stage in your life. You get married, so you have a spouse. Now that spouse. Why am I using the word spouse? Because it may be a husband, it may be a wife. Because I may be talking to a man or a woman. So accordingly, you can have a spouse, a partner. That spouse has his or her own blood relations. So those blood relations after your marriage also become your blood relations. But then you have to differentiate, because you have a father here, your spouse has a father, now he is also your father. You can't have 2 fathers. So what will you do? One is a father, the other becomes a father by law, because you're married by law. So all the blood relatives get added to your blood relations by law, and that is why we use the suffix in-law. So one is father, the blood father, the other is father-in-law, that is your spouse's father. Okay, father-in-law, mother-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law. We don't use the word wife-in-law or spouse-in-law or husband-in-law. Please don't do that. Okay, so you have, if a person is a husband, he has a wife, father-in-law, mother-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law. Everything is possible. Okay, and vice versa. If a person is a woman, she has a husband, father-in-law, mother-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law. Clear? So this is what blood relations is all about. But how do we depict that? How do we depict that? So the 4th point here is marriage. Now to depict a couple, exactly what happens is, a couple is also assumed to be on the same generation level. See, now a lot of people tell me that, sir, there are couples who are, let's say, a few years apart. They may be 15 years apart. Usually in 15 years, the generation changes. So generation is changing. How can we show the marriage on the same level? Don't consider special cases. Logical reasoning only talks to you about logical things. Logical means generally if it was true. Not for specific cases. They never overthink, never get into specific cases. Okay. So when I talk about marriage, the marriage has to be at the same generation level and with opposite gender only. So if one is a male, if it is married to somebody, it has to be a female. Directly you can assign the gender. You don't have to, you have that thought that a male can be married to a male also. We are only talking about conventional marriages here. Okay. So now that is why to differentiate between a single line, that is siblings, and marriage, we use a double line to depict a marriage or a couple. So now if I tell you that C was married to F. C was married to F. So we know that if C was a girl, a woman, F has to be a husband, a male. Okay, F has to be a husband, a male. Got it? So now you can clearly see C is married to F, C is the wife, F is the husband. How is E related to F? E is the son of F, because E is the son of C, C is the wife of F. So E is also the son of F, F is the father of E, E is the son of F. How is A related to F? So A is the brother-in-law of F, that is F's wife's brother. And how is F related to A? F is also the brother-in-law of A, A's sister's husband. How is D related to F? So D's father's sister's husband. D is the niece of F. D is also the niece of F. Okay. And how is F related to D? F is the paternal uncle of D. D's father's sister's husband. Paternal uncle of D. Fufaji in Hindi or regional languages. How is K related to F? So F's wife's father-in-law. How is F related to K? K's daughter's husband, son-in-law. Cool. How is B related to F? Cannot be determined. Cannot be determined because we don't know the gender. Okay. Cool. Now let me show another relationship here. I will draw, let's say, a mother of F. So we have G is the mother of F. G is the mother of F. Remember, you have to keep the levels same. Okay. So this level has to be approximately same. They are on the same generation level. So G is the, sorry, I have drawn a father. G is the mother of F. Now how is G related to C? So G is the mother-in-law of C. How is C related to G? C is the daughter-in-law of G. How is E related to G? E is the grandson of G. And how is G related to E? G is the paternal grandmother of E. Now there arises a question. In our regional languages, we have names for each specific blood relation. Trust me, that's very true. There are names which you don't even know, which you have never used in your daily life, but they exist for each relationship, separate names for each relationship. But in English, that is not the case. So if I suddenly ask you now, please tell me what is the relationship between K and G? What is the relationship between K and G? And what is the relationship between A and G? How is A related to G and how is K related to G? So in Hindi, we call them Samdhan and Samdhi. Okay. A lot of people start calling him also as the son-in-law. They think that, okay, all the males are son-in-laws and all the females are daughter-in-laws. That is not the case. In reality, in English, you will say these relations do not exist. Do not exist. It simply implies that there is no name for these relationships. They are nameless. If a question at all comes and they ask you how is K related to G, and in the options it is written either cannot be determined or relationship does not exist, you will take that. Otherwise, they will give you an indirect option. Indirectly, you can depict them. How is K related to G? So, G's daughter-in-law's father or G's son's father-in-law. Correct. You can do that. Tick that. Not a problem. Cool. But otherwise, K and G or A and G, the relationships do not exist. Understood? So, this was the complete write-up of what a family tree looks like. How do you draw a family tree? All the various aspects of a family tree and how do you read a family tree. Up until I would say 3, 4, 5 years ago, max till that time, syllogism usually, even now I would say, it is normally very easy as far as SSC exams are concerned. The good level syllogism questions are actually a part of banking examinations or somewhat railway examinations also, right? Why good level? Because they are getting a step deeper into the concept. And SSC usually it asks only the very basic concepts of syllogism, but since the time when logical reasoning was introduced in tier 2, that is when they have slightly, I would not say a lot, but slightly deviated from their regular syllogism questions into what is known as a possibility based syllogism. That is a different conclusion altogether. So my idea is to cover all that in these 2 sessions. Let's see how much we can do. There is always a restriction of time on YouTube. So let's start without any further ado. But if you're new on the channel, subscribe to the channel right away. Share this video across platforms so that other students can also benefit from this syllogism topic which we are doing today. And do hit the like button and let us know in the comments how you are liking the content we are bringing for you. So let's start. I'll pace up through a lot of things here so that we can cover as much as possible. So what is syllogism? Basically, this is the structure of a syllogism question. Okay. Some statements are given to you and you need to, some conclusions are also given to you and you need to validate the conclusions, that whether these conclusions can be derived from these statements or not. Okay. I would not call it directly related to critical reasoning, but in branching somewhat indirectly, you can relate this to deductive reasoning. Okay. Now, statements will be given to you. In logical reasoning, whatever heading, whatever header, whatever detail, whatever text comes under the category of statement is assumed to be always 100% accurate and correct. Even if it is logically, it has some fallacy. Despite that, you will assume it to be correct always. Okay. Statements like some rats are elephants. Obviously, that is practically impossible. But in syllogism, they are assumed to be correct. So, keeping your statements in mind that if these statements are correct, which of these conclusions can be drawn is the basic criteria, right? But the problem is they are not very direct mostly, right? So what we need to do is we need to convert these statements into the form of a figure, and visualizing that figure we can get our answers much quicker. Now there is another method, very famous method with syllogism, which a lot of people use. I don't know why. It is 50%, 100% method. That is partially correct, I would say, but in a lot of types of questions, it fails. So you will not end up, you will end up getting the incorrect answer. So it is rather better you stick to one method, that is converting the statements into your graphical representations, which we call Venn diagrams. Okay. So what is the basic purpose? We have to convert your statements into Venn diagrams so that you can analyze them better. We draw a single Venn diagram for all our statements. And from the Venn diagrams, we need to validate our conclusions. Okay. So that is the idea of syllogism. That is how you proceed, and these are the options. The only conclusion: 1 follows, 2 follows, both follow, none follow. So you'll have to tick the option accordingly. So statements are given, we'll convert them into Venn diagrams, and accordingly we'll figure out which conclusion follows, which conclusion does not follow. Now from here on, we will be covering all three aspects of syllogism here: statement, Venn diagram, and conclusion. Okay. So when I talk about syllogism, my statements are utilized to depict relations between elements. Okay. Now relations means what kind of relations? There can be a relationship of some, no, some not, all. So 4 major words on which your complete syllogism is dependent. Majorly 4. At your level 4, there are other words as well. But at your level, there are 4 major words which are used to determine a relationship between 2 elements. Okay. We have divided those 4 words into 2 parts, 2 types of relationships. But we have another third type as well. So basically, between 2 elements. What are elements? If I say some elephants are rats. So elephants and rats are known as elements. Some houses are huts. So houses and huts are elements. Some A are B. As simple as that. A and B are elements. So to depict relationship between these elements, we use these keywords. There are 4 major keywords: some, all, no, some not. Based on these words, we have divided these relationships of statements into 3 types. One which depicts a positive relationship between 2 elements. Positive relationship means there is something which is attached, which is there. Either some part is common, or the complete element is common into the another element. So there is some positive relationship association which is present there. Apart from that, if you are using negation words in English like no or some not, so no means there is a restriction between 2 elements, that their elements cannot be common with each other, their parts cannot be common with each other. So that's a negative relationship, there is a restriction. Some not means there is a partial restriction, that some part of maybe a particular element is restricted to be a part of the other element. The others are free. They can be, they cannot be. That depends. So whenever there is a restriction of some sort, it becomes a negative relationship. Okay. Now these are the relationships which you will be plotting. You will be converting them into Venn diagrams, and we'll learn how. Alright. We'll learn how to do that. But what about this third type? This third type, you will not plot this ever. You will simply plot your Venn diagrams for these relationships. This will automatically appear in front of you. And the moment this appears, you will derive a result from this. So I'll teach that result to you later on. So we'll keep this in mind here. Okay. The moment this will appear, you will derive a result out of it. Cool. But this is no relation exists. That is, if at all this appears in front of you, wherein 2 elements are not connected to each other. Right? So then you will simply say that there is no relation between these elements, and if there is no relation between these elements, then there are results accordingly which will help you to derive your conclusions much more faster. Okay. Is this part clear to you? Positive relationships, negative relationships, no relationships. There's a difference between this no and this no. Be careful. No relation exists. You will not draw this. This will automatically appear in front of you. These are the relationships which you will draw on the Venn diagram. Now, what is a Venn diagram? A lot of you might also ask me that. Venn diagram is simple representation of your statements in the form of a figure. Each element is depicted by a circle. You can depict it by any figure, triangle, rectangle, square, any closed figure. But we in syllogism use circles mostly. Okay. Right. Now, I told you that statements in syllogism are based majorly on 4 keywords. 2 positive, 2 negative. Let's understand the Venn diagram of each keyword. Okay. So just give me one moment while I set this up for you. Okay, so these are the 4 keywords right in front of you, which is some, all, no, and some not. Okay, this is the Venn diagram. Some A are B, all A are B, no A are B or no A is B, some A are not B. Now we need to derive conclusions from this. That is the main purpose, right? So what I'll do is, for you, I will highlight a specific region in the figure so that it is easy for you to determine where does the conclusion lie. Okay. When I'm talking about this, some A are B, that means some part of A is common in B. I am highlighting this region of the figure for you. Remember, you don't have to highlight this. This is just to give you a hint that your conclusions will be derived only from this specific region, okay, and not outside. So you cannot talk about this region or this region at all. Okay, we will be taking conclusions only from this particular region which I have highlighted or shaded for you, because our statement says some A are B. That means it is only talking about this region. It is only giving you a guarantee of this region. And remember, at this stage, whatever conclusions you are drawing have to have 100% guarantee. They cannot be, they cannot be maybe. They have to be for sure. Only then you will consider them as a conclusion. So these are known as definite conclusions. Okay. So your conclusion, even if I pick up 50,000 different cases, it has to be correct and accurate each time. There cannot be even one case where it does not follow. If there is even one case, then that conclusion will never follow. Okay. Is this clear? So that is how hard you have to be on the conclusion. It has to be definitely 100% surely true. Only then will you consider, and that will be ensured by this region. So your conclusion has to be limited into this region only. Okay. Now before we proceed, one key point which I need to share here with you. It's a very common error which all of us make here, that whenever somebody tells us, supposedly, it's a very simple concept. I'll give it to you with an example. Supposedly, I am here in a class right now. You are not able to see, but let's say there are students sitting here. You can't see them. You can see only me. And I am just giving you one information that some of these students are boys. Some of these students are boys. So I am saying some students are boys. Your brain automatically assumes that, okay, if some of them are boys, there are the others who are left who are not boys. That means they are girls. That's a very common thing which you do, which anybody would do. Okay, if in a group of students, I am just telling you, you can't see them. So I am telling you some of these are boys. You will automatically assume that the rest of them are not boys. They are girls. Right? That is where the biggest error of syllogism lies in your head. Okay. Remember, if I am telling you some A are B, I am asking you to be restricted into this region of your figure. You are telling me, then definitely I can say some A are not B, but that is talking about in this region. And I told you some A which are not B is in this region. You cannot talk about this because this is outside your scope. Your scope is only limited to this one. Okay. So always remember, some A are not B is not a valid conclusion here. Always remember that if some A or B is true as a statement, some A or not B is never true as a conclusion. Then what is that one conclusion which you can draw which is lying in this figure only? If some A or B, what can I definitely say with full guarantee? Only one thing, some B are A. If I am saying some part of A is common in B, similarly, some part of B is definitely common in A also. And that is talking about this region only. So that is the only one definite conclusion which I can draw from this particular statement. Okay? Cool. Keep commenting, keep commenting. If it is clear to you, just let me know. If you think I'm rushing fast, then you can ask me to slow down. Let's move on to the next statement type now. The next keyword is all. So for the figure of all A are B, so complete region of A is there in B, is common in B. What region do I highlight? For you, I am highlighting this region. That means your conclusion will lie only in this region. It cannot go outside this region. This highlighting you don't have to do. I am only doing this for you to understand easily. Okay. So all A are B. Complete part of A is present in B. What can we draw as a definite conclusion from this one? What can we draw as a definite conclusion from this one? Again, some people will say, why can't we say some B are not A? If all A are B, some B are not A. A lot of people think this, but again, the B which is not A is in this region and you cannot talk about this region. No, I told you it's only restricted in the highlighted part. So this is also not correct. If I am saying all A are B, a lot of you will start saying all B are A. That is also not possible because it is including this region. So when I say all A are B, I can definitely conclude some B are A, can't I? Some B are A because it talks about the same region which is common with A. So my first and foremost definite conclusion here is some B are A. If I am saying all A are B, I can definitely say that some B are A. And there is another conclusion here. If I am saying complete part of A is common in B, then definitely some part is definitely going to be common. So if I am saying all A is B, then some A is definitely B, not a problem. So here I will get two correct definite conclusions, some A are B and some B are A. If I am saying all A are B, I will say some B are A and some A are B are the only two definite conclusions which I can draw from this figure. No, nothing else. Nothing else apart from what is written here. You cannot draw any other conclusion which is definite, which is 100% accurate. Alright. Now, next we move on to the negative relationship. Negative means no A are B. That means this is A, this is B, and A is completely restricted in B. Now a lot of you have studied Venn diagrams already in the past. And you have known no A or B to be like this. Even when I was studying during my earlier days for this topic, I also used to draw no like this only. Because that is how, Venn diagram set theory in 11th standard you have studied, no relation is like this only. But remember, this is no relation. That is, I don't know what is the relationship between A and B. Whereas now I am talking about negation. Negation means negative relation. So I will draw it differently like this. That means I am telling you that elements of A are restricted to be in B. If that means even if they want to be common with B in some particular case, they cannot be. Why? Because there is a restriction. This makes it a negative association. This is different and this is different. Always remember that, guys. They are both different things. Okay. So we will call this as negative relation and this as no relation. Or if you don't want to get confused with no, just say relationship does not exist. Relation does not exist and there is no negative relation here. So we are just using the keyword no for it. That means there is a restriction that elements of A are restricted to be a part of B and vice versa, obviously. What is the definite conclusion which you can draw from here? if no part of A can be a part of B, that is all part of A is restricted to be a part of B, similarly all part of B will also be restricted to be a part of A. Agree or no? Do you agree or not? If no part of A can be a part of B, then no part of B also will not be a part of A. So if no A are B, no B are A is the proper conclusion. There is no highlight here, okay? And if I am saying that A is completely restricted to be in B, then I will also say A is partially restricted. If complete part of A is restricted to be in B, then some part of A is also restricted to be in B. So I can simply say some A are not B and some B are not A. If I am saying the statement no A or B is true, then I will say no B are A, okay. Some A are not B because all A are not B. Completely A is not into B. So some A will also not be into B. Some A are not B and some B are not A. These are the only three definite conclusions which I will draw from here. Okay. Nothing else. Some A are B, some B are A. All B are A, all A are B, some A are not B. Okay, some A are not B is right. So those will not be the conclusion. These are the only definite conclusions out of this. And let's move on to the last and the most important concept of definite syllogism, or rather syllogism in itself, because a lot of students don't understand the essence of this point. Some not. Some not means here the complete element was restricted to be a part of the other one. Here it is partially restricted. Some part of A is restricted to be in B. I am not talking about the rest of it. So here if I want to highlight, I can highlight this region. So this means my conclusion is going to lie in this region only. Some part of A is restricted to be a part of B. Some part of A is restricted to be a part of B. Now you try and tell me what definite conclusions can you draw from this. A lot of students tell me some B are A, some A are B, some B are not A, no B is A, no A is B. You can draw n number of conclusions which you want to, but nothing will be definite. Nothing will be definite. Okay, that is the main game here. No conclusion can be a definite conclusion here, because everything has a change. Okay, for example, if I tell you no B is A, okay, no B is A, I am telling you here it is. This is still some A are not B. Some part of A is restricted in B, but here B and A are common. I cannot say no B is A now. So this is false. Okay, everything exists as a conclusion. Okay, some B are not A. Another common problem. Some B are not A. So this is A, this is B, and this is the restricted portion. This is A, this is B. See, some part of A is restricted in B. The part which is outside, it will never be a part of B. But nothing else is restricted. So whole B is into A. So all B is A. You can never say no B is A here, or some B is not A here. So everything has a way out. So no matter how hard you try, you will never get a definite conclusion here. So that is your game changer point. That is your game changer point. That there is no definite conclusion between two elements if they are connected with some not. Okay. Now this is how you will utilize this statement. You can recognize this with the help of this figure. Simply, just look at the figure. Also remember, these statements themselves are valid conclusions. If I am saying some A or B, this is the conclusion, this itself is also a conclusion because this is 100% right. So when I am saying, when I see the figure of some A or not B, this only is a valid conclusion, nothing else. Okay, now I will give you an example here. I am telling you some apples, no wait, all apples are bananas and no banana is an orange. These are two statements given to me. Okay. What Venn diagram will I draw? What Venn diagram will I draw? So I will say all apples are bananas. And now I am saying no, sorry. No apple is an orange, okay? This is how I will draw it. Correct? All apples are bananas and no apple is an orange. Now, if you clearly observe the figure, I have not written sum naught anywhere in the statements. Despite that, as soon as I look at the figure, it's exactly like the sum naught figure. And how, in which direction is sum naught related? Some bananas are not oranges. Some bananas, which are apples, are not oranges. So there is a relationship of sum naught between bananas and oranges. So no matter whatever definite conclusion I give you between banana and orange, some bananas are orange, some bananas are orange, all bananas are orange, all oranges are bananas, some oranges are bananas, no orange is banana, no banana is orange. Nothing is going to be valid. Straight away cancel everything between them. Blindly you can do that, except for some banana is not orange. So the moment you recognize the figure, and this figure is a very common figure in syllogism. The moment you recognize this figure, you will easily be able to draw conclusions between the two elements. Just see where is the sum naught lying. Sum naught has to be in this direction. It is not in this direction. Some B R naught A is not true here. Only some A R naught B is true. So some bananas is not oranges. Did you understand this part or no? Okay. So this is your complete chart of definite syllogism, definite conclusion. That means these are the statements, 4 basic statements. These are how I plot their Venn diagrams. Okay. I can have multiple statements in the same question. So I will draw all these diagrams together into a single minimum possible Venn diagram without any assumption. And these are the only definite conclusions which I can draw from these statements. Okay. That is how you solve syllogism. It's as it can get simple if you understand every little thing which I am telling you here. Right? I'll just give you maybe, we'll just understand the rules first. Right? Let's understand the rules. I had told you that when there is no relation, we spoke about positive relations, we spoke about negative relations, but we did not talk anything about no relations. So I told you whenever there is no relations, you will never draw that Venn diagram. You will draw only these Venn diagrams. That will appear automatically in front of you. And the moment it appears, you have to remember a relationship. You have to remember a rule from that. What are those rules? So the first rule says that if there exists no relation between two elements, if two elements are not related to each other, not the negative no. No relation means relationship does not exist. Their Venn diagrams are not connected together. Then all definite conclusions between them will not follow. All definite conclusions between them will not follow. If there is no relation between two elements, that is, if two elements relationship does not exist, their Venn diagrams are not connected, then all definite conclusions between them will not follow. And let's look at this rule now. What exactly does this rule tell us? So I'll have rule 1 here for you. I'm giving you an example of rule 1. Okay. So this is the question. These are the 4 conclusions. We have to choose which one will follow, which one will not follow. Okay. My figure, what will be my figure like? Some A are B and some B are C. Now see, observe carefully. Observe carefully. Looking at the statements simply said some A are B, some B are C, and I have plotted that in front of you. Okay, but when I look at A and C, I told you never have to draw it, it will automatically emerge. This automatically came out that A and C are not connected to each other. I just drew two sum figures, but this automatically emerged that A and C are not connected to each other. That means A and C are not related to each other. That means between A and C, no relation exists. That means I cannot conclude or comment anything about A and C. So all definite conclusion will not follow. Now look at the conclusions. You tell me which one will follow, which one will not follow. So or some A or C. No. A and C are not connected, so I will not conclude anything. Okay. Third one, some C are not A, not connected, I will not conclude anything. Fourth one, all A are C, not connected, I will not conclude anything. But this is a soft corner for a lot of students. They say that, yeah, it is visible, no A is C. It is visible. Why don't we mark option 2 as correct? My son, if this was like this, only then would I have said no C is A. It is not like this. There is no relationship between them. No relation, no positive, no negative. Nothing exists between them. I cannot conclude anything. Okay. So I will just say this will also not follow. Neither positive nor negative. Nothing is going to follow. So my answer is simply going to be none follows. That is the beauty of this rule. It can almost give you instant answers. Okay. Now, the next rule says that if all statements are positive, that means we only have positive statements based on some and all, then negative conclusions automatically will not follow. So if the statements are only in all and some, then your no and some not will never follow. Blindly you can cross them. Okay. Let me show you this also with an example. So we'll say rule, example of rule 2. Now let's check this out. Some A are B and all B are C. This is the Venn diagram. Now it is saying, so all are only positive statements only. So negative conclusions will automatically not follow. So these two will automatically not follow. You don't even have to look at them. But for the others, you'll have to check. For others, you can't just blindly tick them. The rule is not saying that if the statements are positive conclusions will follow. The rule is only saying if the statements are positive, negative conclusions will not follow. So we cancel the negative ones, but positive ones you will have to check. Some A or C, can I say that? Yes, I can say that. All C are B, can I say that? No, I cannot say that. So my answer will be only 1 follows. Okay. So these are the basic rules of syllogism. Now I'll just give you an example. Just look at this example once. Take some time and give it a shot. I am teaching you syllogism from the extreme basic. So how will we plot this? Some cups are plates. All plates are trays. That's how we'll draw it. Now it is saying some cups are trays. Some cups are trays. See, there is some part of cup which is a part of plates, and all plates are trays. That means this part will be there in trays also. So this is a true conclusion, not a problem. This is definitely true. Okay. And all trays are cups. I could have said some trays are cups, not a problem. Look at the Venn diagram. But can I say all trays are cups? No, I cannot say that. So only conclusion 1 follows. Option A becomes my correct answer. That's how simple syllogism is. Okay. We'll raise the bar gradually. Don't worry. Gradually we'll get into complex things. But as of now, let's keep it simple. Okay. Now we'll take another step forward. That is the case of either or. Right. Now this is syllogism in front of you. Simple, regular, normal. Okay. But then there is another case which is either or. So far in the options you have only seen these kind of options. But sometimes in the options you have either conclusion 1 or 2 follows. Then what to do? Okay. So you will have to have a thought process. You will have to have conditions ready for that. Okay. What are the conditions? So either or will only compare between 2 conclusions. Any 2 conclusions can be picked up and either or relationship can be established between them, provided these 3 conditions are simultaneously satisfied. So you have to have all 3 of them satisfy at the same time. Condition number 1 is those conclusions which are being compared, both of them need to be incorrect individually. That is, individually they cannot follow. None of them can follow. Both have to be crossed out. Even if one is ticked, they can never be either or. What is the concept of either or basically? Either or implies that there are 2 conclusions which are not following. But if I take them together, one of them can be true. I don't know which one. But one of them is definitely going to be true. So if I take 2 conclusions together which are otherwise incorrect, one of them can be said to be, we can say it to be true as far as the statement is concerned. So that becomes my first logic, my first condition, that both the conclusions should be independently incorrect, individually incorrect. Once this is satisfied, we move on to the next rule, the next condition, that is there needs to be a complementary pair. Now a lot of students misunderstand the word complementary pair. I have just told you what it is. Complementary pair means one is positive, one is negative. Okay, that is fine. But when taken together, only one of them can be true. Both cannot be true simultaneously. Okay, are you getting it? So that is why complementary pair in simple language only implies a combination of some and no, positive, negative, and all and some not, positive, negative. These are the only 2 pairs allowed. Otherwise, that will not be either or. If it is a some and some not or all and no, that is not a complementary pair. You will not label it under either or. You will treat it as a normal question. So the second condition is it has to be a pair of some no or all some not. If one is some, the other one is no. If one is all, the other one is some not. And the third condition after these 2 is that the element should be same in both the cases. That means if one conclusion is talking about rats and elephants, the other conclusion will also talk about rats and elephants only, nothing else. Only then will I say that either or is correct. Okay. If it is saying some A are B, no B is C. So you are saying, oh, both are incorrect. One is some, one is no. So why not? It is either or. No. Some A are B, no A are C. Sorry, some A are B, no A are B. Then I can say, yeah, some and no, I will call it either or case. Are you getting it? Elements have to be same. So if these three conditions are simultaneously satisfied, then and only then will I tick on the either or case. Let's take an example for this also. So I know this session is theory heavy actually. What we can do is tomorrow also I'll be focusing a lot on, because see, I want to cover everything. I don't want this to be a partial session. So maybe, just maybe, I might take another session next week, on next Thursday, that is, for practice. So we are ready with the concept in these two sessions. In the third session we'll practice and we'll be at par. So now here it says all chips are biscuits. All chips are biscuits. Okay. No wafer is a chip. Okay. No wafer is a chip. What is the figure? Immediately recognize. It is some not. Some not. Between which two elements? Some biscuits are not wafers. Some biscuits which are chips are not wafers. So some not between biscuit and wafer. That means between biscuit and wafer all definite conclusions will not follow, except for some not. Some biscuits are wafers? No. No wafer biscuit? No. Some chips are wafer? Not possible at all. There is a restriction here. That is breaching the scope of your statement only. Now technically my answer here should have been none of them follow. But that is not there in the options. Even if it was there, you would have come across this first. Now this either is talking about conclusion 1 and 2. So you'll have to check for your conditions between 1 and 2. Condition number 1, both should be individually incorrect. Are they incorrect? Yes, they are. Perfect. Switch to the next condition. Condition number 2, combination of some and no. Yes, we can see that. Condition number 3, element should be the same. Biscuit, wafer, correct. So option B is my correct answer. That is either or for you. Okay. So this is the concept of syllogism which was important for SSC examinations up until a particular time. Even today majority of your questions are based on these concepts only. But there is another world altogether after this, which I want to teach you, which I can of course not do in the next 15 minutes. So I will teach that to you tomorrow. But today, since we have some more time, we'll practice a few questions so that we understand where we are standing, how much we have understood from this session. Number 1. Number 2, remember that I told you that syllogism is based on 4 major words. Your statements are based on 4 major words. Some, all, no, some not. But we can use their synonyms also. So instead of some, I can use few also. Some A are B, few A are B, one and the same thing. Okay. At least some A are B, one and the same thing. You'll treat them similarly. Okay. So just don't get confused if you read these words anywhere. Right? But I'll elaborate on this further in the next session. As of now, let's just practice some questions and get it out of our system. Okay. We can try as many as we can. Okay. Then I'll end this session and we'll continue with this tomorrow. You can put the answers in the chat box, guys. Okay. Few chips are cakes, that is some chips are cakes. Some chips are cakes, all cakes are ice creams. All ice creams are sweets. Some sweets are cakes, absolutely right. Some ice creams are cakes, absolutely right. All cakes are sweets, yes, correct. So all conclusion 1, 2 and 3 follow. Next. So you can basically, if you're watching this video, you can just pause here and just try to solve this question. I'll solve it right away so that we can solve more of them. All ORC, all CRD. Some CRO, absolutely right. Some DRC, absolutely correct. No OHD cannot be possible because all OHD is correct. So this is not true. Only 1 and 2 follow. Only 1 and 2 follow. Option D is the right answer. Next. Hit the pause button and try it if you are trying. Some PRK. No K is T. All PRT. Sorry, conclusion. Oh my God. All PRT, no. All TRK, not at all. Some PR not T. Now you will say that, oh, we cannot see that figure, so this is not true. No. There is some part of P which is a part of K which is definitely restricted in T. So some PR not T is true. So some not can also have this figure. Okay. Primarily the figure which I gave you is correct, but this is also a right depiction of some not. So only conclusion 3 follows. Option A is the right answer here. Cool. Some Z are X, some W are Z. See, W and X are not connected. Try to recognize everything immediately. So W and X, there will be no relation between them. So I cannot conclude anything between X and W. Some X are not Z. Can I say that? No. When I am saying some X are Z, I can only say some Z are X. That's maximum I can say. I will never say a negative statement. So neither conclusion follows. Option C is the right answer. Also, I can clearly see both my statements are positive. So negative conclusions as it is will not follow. Straight away I could have said none of these follow. So remember the rules and try to apply them together. You will be able to solve these questions very easily. Let's keep this as the final question for today. Some mobiles are flat. All flats are TVs. Some TVs are plastic. Minimum possible Venn diagram. Do not assume anything. Do not merge plastic and flats because there is no relation given between them. So now you can see plastic and mobile, no relation. Plastic and flat, no relation. They are not connected to each other. Some mobiles are TVs. Yes, absolutely right. That is visible. Some flats are plastic. No. All plastic are TVs. No. Only conclusion 1 follows. Option B is the right answer. The more you practice, the faster you will get at this. Okay. We will terminate the session here. Tomorrow, I will start from another set of conclusions, that is possible conclusions. So today we learnt about definite conclusions, but it is not restricted to that. So there is another world of syllogism altogether, which is possible conclusions. So we will go through that, learn everything related to that, and there are little nuances again. Some extra knowledge which I want to give you, which is pertaining to banking syllogism, but I want to give it now here only. So maybe tomorrow's session also we might stretch into a lot of content, but we'll practice some questions, and if it is not sufficient, sorry, then I'll take another session in the next week dedicated to only practice based on syllogism. Done? Alright, so on that note, I'll end the session here, guys. Thank you so much for joining live. But let me tell you, for you, Oliveboard is actively running the SSC Tier 1, Tier 2 combo crash course. So go ahead and check that out on the website or on the application. Okay, and subscribe to the same for full benefits, because this is nothing. This is merely a trailer which I could give you here because of restricted time. I am openly, they leave me open there. That teach the hell out of it. And not only me, all the wonderful teachers, they are doing the same. Every little detail is being taken care of. Not from the perspective of what you should know, from the perspective of what you should not do in your exam. For your definite conclusions, then they have to be correct in all 50,000 cases. Only then can you put it under this category. But out of 50,000 cases, even if in one case a conclusion is true, it will come under the possible category. Possible means maybe. Okay. And I also told you one more important thing is that it is not a different type of question. Don't treat it in a different way. Okay. Everything is a part of the same question only. So the statements will be the same. The Venn diagrams will be the same. But the conclusions will be different. In the same question, you can have one or two definite conclusions and one or two possible conclusions. So now your brain has to switch. Your brain has to work like a toggle switch. That when you're reading a definite conclusion, you think like definite. When you're reading a possible conclusion, you think like possible. And why am I saying a toggle switch is because the way definite conclusions work, the rules and regulations of definite conclusions are diametrically opposite to what happens in possibility. Exactly opposite. So your brain has to completely keep on switching. It constantly has to switch within the same question. And that is why possibility syllogism becomes difficult for a lot of students. Okay. But in simple language, whatever is true here is not true here. And whatever is true here is not true here. It's that simple. It's that easy. Okay. And I had told you that I am telling you that in the same question you will see possible conclusions and definite conclusions. So how will you differentiate between the two? So for that I had told you that there are keywords here. Okay. The keywords like can be, may be or possibility. Okay. So once you read a conclusion with can be, may be or possibility, you will say that okay, these are your possible conclusions, otherwise they are definite conclusions. And I was just writing these examples down here. Okay, I had just written these examples down that some A are B, this is a definite conclusion. This is how a conclusion looks like in definite conclusions like we read yesterday. Some A are B, all A are B, no B is A, some A are not B. Okay, but this is how possible conclusions will look like. Some A may be B, some A can be B, or some A being B is a possibility. Either which ways they can represent it. So the moment you come across something like this, this is a possible conclusion. So your brain has to switch to the possibility mode. That's all I had said, right? Nothing else, nothing more. Clear? So far with me, everybody? No issue, no problem? Okay. Now, there is another thing which I have mentioned here, but I can go into further detail later on with this. That is can never. See, I told you can be is your possibility. Maybe is a possibility. And the word possibility itself will come under possibility. But if you see can and never together, never is used for a definite conclusion. That no, this is never possible. So even in 50,000 cases, never possible. So the moment you have the word never with can, that will come under definite, not under possibility. So don't get confused with the word can here. Can be, may be, possibility, okay. But never, can never be is not possibility. It is a definite case. I'll come to that. It's a very interesting question form of can never. I'll show that to you later on. Okay. Now let's proceed further. So yesterday when we had learnt about the definite conclusions, I had shown you what are the Venn diagrams, and I had shown you one thing, that what regions of your Venn diagrams can you hunt for the definite conclusions in, right? And I had told you what regions can you not think of. I had highlighted some regions for you yesterday, correct? Now today we are going to do the same activity, the same exercise for possible conclusions. So whatever we have done yesterday is already here in front of you. We are just adding to that now. So 4 major statements in syllogism, everything remains the same. Okay, some A are B, all A are B, no A are B, some A are not B, positive, negative, and no relation we will not draw, that will automatically be available to us. It will automatically be visible to us. Now these are the Venn diagrams for the said statements. Everything was done yesterday. Yesterday I had told you that to draw a definite conclusion from this, I had highlighted a part of the figure for you. For example, I had said if I am saying some A are B, I am talking about this region specifically, correct? Some A are B. So this is the only region I can draw my definite conclusions from. See, some B are A is also lying in this region only. So that is a definite conclusion. And I told you, please stay away from this region. You are not sure about this region. But whatever today you are not sure about, that will be a part of your possible conclusions. So for your possible conclusions, you will look only and strictly in this region of your figure. Okay. So when we want to derive possible conclusions, we will look only in this region on the figure. So yesterday when I told you that if some A are B, And I told you yesterday that if we assume, if there is a statement some A are B, we automatically think then some A are not B, definitely. But I told you never think like that. That is not true. If I am telling you some boys in this, some students in this class are boys, you cannot see them. I am telling you there are some students sitting here and some of them are boys. So I told you it's a tendency for you to automatically assume that the rest of them are girls. And I told you don't do that. It is not correct. Because maybe all of them are boys. I am just saying some of them are boys, but you don't know about the rest of them. So don't assume. But under possibility, can we say that if some of them are boys, maybe the rest of them are girls? Yes. Why not? They may be girls, they may not be girls. We are not sure about that. Okay. So if under definite conclusion, I would say some A are not B is not true. But under possible conclusions, I can say yes. If some A are B, some A are not B is a possible conclusion. So how will I write it? Some A may not be B. Some A are not B. Some A not being B is a possibility, something of that sort. Okay. So that is a possibility. Why? Because it is based in this region. So some A are not B. Similarly, some B are not A. Okay. Similarly, if I take this part completely there, so all A are B, this part of A will also come inside. So all A are B is a possibility. All B are A is also a possibility. This part of B will come inside. Okay. What is not possible at all? So when I am saying some A are B, I am saying some A are not B, some B are not A, all A are B, all B are A. These all things are possible. What is never possible here? Not even in possibility, not even in definite. So if I am telling you some A are B, I can never say no A are B. Are you with me on this? Or vice versa, no B are A. I cannot say that. No matter I am talking about definite, no matter I am talking about possible, I can never say this conclusion. I can never derive this conclusion. Why? Because this breaches the scope of my statement. This breaches the scope of my statement. That is, this contradicts my statement. And if your conclusion is contradicting a statement, it is always going to not follow. It is always going to be false. So if my statement is saying some A is definitely B, I cannot say no A is B or no B is A. No. I can strictly not do that. So this is always incorrect. Otherwise, there is one definite conclusion and whatever else is left, everything comes under possible conclusion. So as I told you, some A are not B, some B are not A, all A are B, all B are A. This is in this region. This is talking about this region of the figure and you have derived all your possible conclusions for some A are B. Okay. Remember, whatever is coming here will not come here. Whatever is coming here will not come here. So if this is a definite conclusion, it is not true under possibility. And if this is a possible conclusion, not true under definite. I'll elaborate more on that. Now let's look at the next one. All A are B. All A are B. Yesterday I had highlighted this region of the figure for you. And I told you, your definite conclusions are going to lie in this region strictly. Today I am telling you, not this one now. We are talking about possible conclusions. So your conclusions are going to lie in this region of the figure. So derive your conclusions from this region. So yesterday I had told you some B are not A. We are talking about this region, so we could not do that yesterday. Today we can do that. If all A are B, some B are not A. See this region? So that is a possible conclusion. What else? If I am saying all A are B, I can also assume maybe all B is also A. That is also talking about this region because this can also come inside now. Okay. So these are the two possible conclusions I can draw from here. Number one, all B are A. Number two, some B are not A. So both these become possible conclusions in this category. Okay. What is not true here? Again, no A or B. This cannot be true. Okay. This cannot be true. Also, some A are not B. Some A are not B. This is also not true here. Why? Because we know all A are B. So some A are not B can never be true here. So these ones are your conclusions which are breaching the scope of your statement. So they are never going to be right. So you have to learn to identify these conclusions also. Okay. Whatever is indefinite will not come under possibility. Whatever is under possibility will not come under definite. But apart from these, there is a third type of conclusion which is an incorrect conclusion altogether always. because that is breaching the scope of your statement. So far so good? Okay, next, yesterday I had told you there is no part highlighted here, no highlights here. Today also there will be no highlights here. You can draw your conclusions from anywhere. Now yesterday we had derived, this is a restriction, negative relation. So I had told you all the elements of A are restricted to be a part of B and vice versa. So we had derived that if no A are B, we can conclude no B are A, some A are not B, some B are not A. Now you tell me what can be a possible conclusion here. What is left? Some A are B. Can I say that? Do you think I can say some A are B? No, because it is breaching the scope of my statement. Some B are A. Again, no. What else? All A are B. Not possible. All B are A. Not possible. Rest everything is covered here already. So in this case, there is no possible conclusion. Like yesterday, there was no definite conclusion for some not. There is no possible conclusion for no. So if two elements are connected with the no statement, that is no A or B, then all possible conclusions between them will not be followed. All possible conclusions between them will not be followed. If two elements are connected with the some not case, all definite conclusions between them except for this will not follow. Okay? You will remember this now. So no is special for the possible conclusions. Some not is special for the definite conclusions. Remember that. And coming to the last one, yesterday I had also taught you how to recognize this figure, because sometimes this comes even without some not. Some not is not mentioned as a statement, still you end up making this figure. So you recognize and you accordingly answer your questions. What are the possible conclusions here? Can I say some A are B? Yes, I can say that. Can I say some B are A? Yes, I can say that. Can I say all B are A? Yes, I can say that. Can I say some B are not A? Yes, I can say that. Okay. Can I say some A are not B? No, because that's a definite conclusion. If the statement is a definite conclusion, that will never be a possible conclusion. Okay. So remember, if I am saying these statements are all under definite conclusions, but they will never be a part of your possible conclusions. Okay. So what are the possible conclusions? Everything. Everything is possible here. Some A are B, no A are B, all B are A, some B are A, no B are A, some B are not A. But only one conclusion is not possible, which is breaching the scope. That is, all A are B. This will never be true here. Why? Because I am telling you there is a restriction, no? There is a partial restriction. Some A is never going to be B. So I cannot put this whole thing inside, because this B will be, this part will be restricted. So all A or B is not possible. All B or A is possible. All B or A is possible, but all A or B is not possible. So if at all this statement comes up, okay, and you have some A or B is a possibility, no A or B is a possibility, all B or A is a possibility, some B or A is a possibility, no B or A is a possibility, and some B or not A is also a possibility. Everything is possible. Because yesterday I had highlighted this region, today the remaining region will be highlighted. So you can draw your conclusions from any part of this figure. So these are all the conclusions which will be there in front of you. Okay. So this is all about possibility syllogism. Yesterday we learnt about definite conclusions. This is about possible conclusions. So your brain has to switch now. But before your brain learns to switch properly, this is not sufficient for you, because obviously you are not going to remember all these conclusions. So how do we proceed? We had learned two rules yesterday. Do you remember? Two rules. Rule number one, if there is no relationship between two elements, all definite conclusions will not follow. And special case, of course, I talked to you about the sum not case. And rule number two, if all your statements are positive, negative conclusions will not follow. This was for definite conclusions. For possibility or for possible conclusions, we have two further rules which we need to learn. Rule number 3 and 4. Yesterday we had done 1 and 2. Today we will do 3 and 4. Rule number 3 says that if there exists no relation between two elements, then all possible conclusions between those two elements will always follow. So now this no relation becomes very special. If there is no relationship, or if there is relationship between two elements does not exist, then you can safely conclude that no definite conclusion between them is going to follow, and all possible conclusions between them are going to follow. Okay, so I'll just give you an example now for this rule. Rule number 3. Rule number 3. We'll give you an example similar to yesterday. So I'm saying some A are B, and now I'm saying some B are C. Okay, and now I have conclusions here. Okay, so now we'll draw the figure. Some A are B, some A are B, some B are C. Okay, some B are C. This is the Venn diagram. Once we have drawn the Venn diagram, what can we immediately see? That A and C are not connected to each other. So this third type of relationship has appeared in front of us now. Okay, so if A and C are not connected to each other, all definite conclusions between them will not follow. And all possible conclusions between them will follow. Now you tell me, read this and tell me what will follow. So some A being C is a possibility. Possible conclusion between A and C. Blindly you can say it will follow. If they are not connected, it is definitely going to follow. All A may be C, may be possibility, follow. No C being A is a possibility. Possibility, follow. Some A may not be C, follow. So you will say all follows here. Easy? Easy? So yesterday, definite conclusions, none of them followed. Today, possible conclusions, all of them are followed. All cases. If two elements are not connected to each other. Okay. And the next rule is actually what is going to help you to solve these questions better. Definite conclusions with maybe, can be, possibility will not follow. This is a golden thing which you need to understand. Okay, definite conclusions with these words are never going to follow. Now I'll show that to you how. And also here you'll learn that if something is true in definite, it is not going to be true in possibility. If something is true under possibility, it is never going to be true under definite. Okay, these are the two types of conclusions. So your brain has to learn to switch. And how can we easily approach these questions? So whenever there is a possible conclusion, see definites you are comfortable with. Whenever you come across a possible conclusion, just drop the possible word. Possibility, maybe, can be, just drop it and read it like a definite conclusion. If you think that this is following under definite, it will never follow under possibility. And if you think it is not following under definite, then it is going to follow under possibility. That's how you can initially start solving a question, so it will become easier for you. I'll give you the example for rule 4 now. Okay. So this is the question in front of you. Some A are B, all B are C. Okay. So I'll draw it. Some A are B, all B are C. See, statements are the same. Venn diagram is the same. Now let's come to the conclusion. You tell me, while you are reading this, I would like your answers as well, to understand whether you are understanding this or not. Tell me which conclusion will follow here. Conclusion 1 says some A or not B is a possibility. So if I am saying clearly some A or B, so I told you if some A or B, some A or not B is a possibility. So this is true. But sometimes remembering this becomes difficult. So I told you what you will do is you check under definite. Check under definite. Okay. Drop the word possibility. Would you have said some A or not B here? You would have said no, this does not follow. Correct? Under definite, you would have said no, this does not follow. So the moment you apply possibility, this is going to follow. Okay. Second one, some C may be A. Tell me whether this will follow or not. Some C may be A. I want your answers in the chat box, guys. Some C may be A. It's true, right? Isn't it? What do you think? Some C may be A. Yeah, it's visible in the Venn diagram. So I should put a tick mark. Okay. This due to maybe, this will not be true. Now I'll tell you why. Some C and A, this is actually a definite conclusion. It's 100% correct. It's 100% valid. So the word maybe is actually making it incorrect. So drop the word maybe. Some C are A. What would you have chosen? Some C are A. You would have said yes, some C are A. So the moment you put maybe here, it's going to go incorrect now. Whatever is true is definite, is true in definite will be false in possibility. Whatever is false in definite will be true in possibility. Unless and until it is a type of conclusion which is breaching the scope of a statement. Then it is always going to be false. Otherwise, they are always working opposite. Totally switch. So if something is true as a definite conclusion, it will never be true in the possible conclusion. So your brain is going to be like, yeah, some C are A, I can see that. So why not? Maybe also they might be. So let's stick it. No, don't do that. If I am telling you that, if I have, let's say anything, I mean, I'm picking up a mango and I'm telling you, this is a mango. Okay. I'm telling you, this is a mango. I am giving you proof, written proof of it. It's visible to you. It's written, it's scientifically proven. And now you are telling me, yeah, maybe this is a mango. You are actually contradicting it. Okay. So if something is definitely true, it is definitely true then. Okay. You can't put it true under possibility and vice versa. If something is possibly true, then it is possibly true. You can't put it into definite case. Remember this rule because this is what, your students end up making a lot of errors here. All C are B. All C are B. Now this is not a possible conclusion. This is a definite conclusion. Because there is no maybe, can be or possibility. This is a definite conclusion. So the moment you came after reading two possible conclusions, you came to this, your brain forgot only to switch. This is where you're going wrong. Now you have to switch immediately. Definite conclusion. All C are B. Is it true? No. So this is not true. Okay. And some B are A is a possibility. Again, test yourself. Some A are B. Okay. If I remove the word possibility, could I have said if some A are B, some B are A? Yes, that's definitely true. So the moment I put possibility, this becomes incorrect. So here the answer is only conclusion 1 follows. Did you understand? This is how you can approach possibility conclusion faster. Good, Aman. Very good. Okay. So if something is true under definite, you remove the word possibility and check. If it is true under definite, then it will be false under possibility. You remove possibility and check. If it is false under definite, it is going to be true under possibility. Unless and until it is not a conclusion which is breaching your statement. Then only you will apply this. If it is breaching your statement, straight away it is always going to be false. That's not a problem. Okay. And always learn to switch between definite and possibility. This was a definite conclusion in between. But your brain, because these three are possible, your brain will force you to take this also as a possible conclusion. Remember, the questions are never going to be unique or different. They are going to always be mixed. In the same set of statements and Venn diagrams, you are going to have multiple conclusions. Some of them will be possible, some of them will be definite. So you have to learn to switch. That's the only thing you need to pick up. Once you pick up that, this will become a cakewalk for you. Okay. Let's try and solve one question here. Okay, try this. So some pencils are rods. Where should I draw it? I'll draw it here only, no? Some pencils are rods. No rod is a door. All balls are rods. Remember, not all rods are balls. It is all balls are rods. So it will be here. Clear? This is the Venn diagram. Now let's read the first conclusion. The first conclusion says some pencils being balls is a possibility. Pencils and balls are not connected to each other. Okay? They are not connected to each other. That means there is no relation between them. And if there is no relation between them, blindly I can say all possibility between them are going to follow. Okay? No ball is a door. This is not a possibility. This is not maybe, can be, or possibility. This is a definite conclusion. Switch. Immediately switch. No ball is a door. Yes, all balls are part of rods and rod is restricted in door. So this is correct. No ball is a door. All rods are balls. Again, definite conclusion. All rods are balls. No, it's not going to happen. So incorrect. But if this was all rods being balls is a possibility, you would have said yes. All rods can be balls. Not a problem. Okay. No pencil is a door. No pencil is a door. Again, you will say no, this is not correct. Why? Because see, pencil, some part of pencil is restricted in door. So between pencil and door, it is a connection of some knot. And think like definite yesterday. If this is some knot case, between pencil and door, everything will be false except some knot. So this is false only. So conclusion 2, 3 and 4, they are all definite conclusions. Only conclusion 1 was a possible conclusion. Your answer is only 1 and 2 follow. So option D is the correct answer. 1 definite and 1 possible conclusions followed. Others did not follow. This is how questions will come in front of you. Okay, it is never going to be restricted. That they'll never ask you, okay, 3 conclusions possibility only or 3 conclusions definite only. No, they'll mix it each time. And that is what is creating the trouble. Learn to switch immediately. So be thorough with the rules you have done yesterday. Be thorough with the rules you have done today. This will become easier for you. Okay? Done? Any issue, any problem, any doubt? Good, very good, Akanksha. Good job. Now, from here on, I have a few questions. We can practice that. Or I wanted, as I told you yesterday, I wanted to tell you something extra. Some extra information. So let's move to that. So I told you in the beginning of this session that can never. The word never with can makes it a definite conclusion, not a possible conclusion. Otherwise, can be. If it was can be, it was possible. But the moment I add never here, it becomes a definite conclusion. Okay. Now can never, instead of can never, I can also substitute it with are not. I can simply substitute can never with are not and study. Solve it accordingly. So I'll get my answer. I just want to give you an example here. Okay. That's it. Nothing else. Okay, let's try this question. You can also give it a shot if you want to. So some A are B and no B is C. This is the figure I am drawing. Okay, some A are B, no B is C. Now my conclusion 1 says some A can never be C. A lot of students, because they see can and B, they think that this is a possibility conclusion and they say, yeah, some A cannot be C. Yeah, it's true. Why not? Just tick it and move ahead. This is not possibility. This is a definite conclusion. Never means definite. So think like definite. It is saying some A can never be B. I have told you replace can never with R naught. Or rather replace can never be with R naught. So read it now. Some A are not C. Can you see that? Some part of A, this part, is not a part of C. This is some not case. Yes, this is true. This is true under definite, not under possible. Okay, this is a definite conclusion. But my major point of attraction here is conclusion number 2. This is where everybody goes wrong. All A can never be C. All A can never be C. Now what do my dear students do? They will convert this into R naught. You can, not a problem. So you will say all A are not C. And then you will say, oh, all, I have seen all with a positive one. How can this be with a negative one? So you will think if all A is not C, that means no A is C. That is what students think. Common thing. If all A are not C, implies no A are C. And then you will say, can I say no A are C? No. So my students end up marking this as false. My students end up marking this as false. See, I am telling you something which it is not taught in paid classes also. Trust me. This is level up. Okay. All A are not C. So students start thinking that this is no A is C. They will look at the figure and they will say, no, I cannot say no A is C. Because it is connected in some knot, there is no other definite conclusion. So no A is C will not be possible. So I'll cancel it. But remember, all plus not is not equal to no. Remember that. All plus not is not equal to no. So all A are not C or all A can never be C implies this is trying to say that no matter how hard you try, complete part of A will never be a part of C. And that is true. Why? Because some part of A is restricted in C. So no matter how hard you try, all A can never be a part of C. This is what this is saying. All A are not C or all A can never be C. This is also true under definite case. This is also true under definite case. This is a definite conclusion here, right here. Got it? And the third one says some B are not A is a possibility. If some A are B, some B are not A is a possibility is true only, not a problem. And if you can't figure it out, just drop the word possibility and see. If some A are B, some B are not A, you would have said no. So after adding possibility, it is true. So my answer here is all follow. My answer here is all conclusions follow. So I usually show this example for can never because I need to remove this ambiguity from your head. Is it clear, everybody who's watching the video right now? I want your yeses and nos in the chat box. Everybody who is watching this video right now, you are going to learn something new in syllogism. I am sure you are told that can never is not definite, but nobody has told you that can never is definite, but nobody has told you with an example how to solve these questions. Yes or no in the chat box, guys. Is it clear to everybody? Okay, we'll move on to the last leg here. Last leg of this session, this topic. So I had told you from the very beginning that there are only 4 basic words in syllogism. But I am going to introduce you to 2 more. Okay. Sometimes you can come across words like some A are B, all A are B, no A are B or some A are not B. But sometimes you can come across only a few A are B. Only a few A are B. Or you may come across only A are B. Okay? Good, Akansha. Good job. Only a few A are B or only A are B. You may come across this. Now they are working different from your some not, all and no. Whenever you come across the word only a few A are B, only a few A or B implies that if I'm saying A and B, I'm giving you a guarantee that only a few of A are in B. So I'm trying to say the rest of them are not. I'm giving you a definite conclusion here. So this is actually a combination of some A are B and some A are not B. So only a few A are B implies a combination of some A are B and some A are not B. So how will you plot the Venn diagram? I am saying only a few A are B. I will say some A are B and some A are not B. So whenever you come across only a few A are B, you will draw this Venn diagram. This implies only a few A are B. That means some A are B and some A are not B. This is how you will plot the Venn diagram, and these are the conclusions which you will be drawing from this. Definite conclusions. So if my statement is reading only a few A are B and I am saying some A are not B, then it's a definitely true conclusion. This is a definite conclusion, not possible. Okay, it's definite. Remember this one point. And here, if I am saying only A are B, what is this? This becomes simple in a lot of terms. Only A are B is simply understood as take it in the reverse direction and write all B are A. Take it in the reverse direction and write all B are A. So this is very easy. If I am saying only A are B, I just had to reverse this and write all B are A. So what will be the Venn diagram like? The Venn diagram will be all B are A. Not a problem. Not a problem. So then what's so special about this? The special is this word only. Only A are B implies all B are A, and you will have to put a dot on B. Why a dot on B? A dot on B implies that B is only or exclusively a part of A. So it cannot be common with any other element. Now, supposedly I am telling you only A or B is my statement. So this is the figure, and now I have drawn some C here. Let's say here, this is C. And I am saying some B or C is a possibility. Some B or C is a possibility. You will say, yeah, it's possible because B and C are not connected. So all possibilities between them will be true. But this is not possible because this is breaching the scope of your statement. Your statement is saying this B is in A and only in A. It cannot be a part of anything else, neither under possibility nor under definite. So the moment you see this Venn diagram and it tells you some B can be A or some B being C, some B being C is a possibility, you will say no. It is an incorrect conclusion. Got it? So this is what I wanted to show you. These are all banking level questions. Okay. SSC has never asked questions from this point. Railways maybe once in a blue moon, but they are actually asked in banking. They are very interesting. There are something new, and I will practice some newer questions with you with these topics in the next session now. Now we'll have one more session of syllogism with you, but unfortunately that will be next week. So in that one more session, I will be practicing questions with you. What is your task is? Your task is to go through these two videos thoroughly, because I have given you knowledge which is not even provided in a paid class. So I have explained the syllogism to you extremely in detail. You just need to go through, practice some questions at your end and be ready. I will bring mixed questions of possibility syllogism and definite syllogism, and only a few also. The primary thing is expression of directions in 3 different formats, right? So you have to be clear with this concept. Now 3 different formats means format number 1 is right in front of you. So we are talking about 4 main directions. We are talking about 4 main directions. So this is the north, this is south, okay, and here this is the east, the right hand side, and this is the west, the left hand side. Okay, so this is, you can remember it like this, NEWS. So this is how it travels. Right? Now, these are the 4 main directions which have the angle of 90 degree between them. So they have the angle of 90 degree between them. So each main direction has an angle of 90 degree between them, right? Now, apart from these 4 main directions, we have 4 cardinal directions. Cardinal means sub-directions. So between each of these main directions, there lies a sub-direction. So this is a sub-direction, 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 sub-direction. Okay. And how are these sub-directions named? They are named like primarily the name of the vertical direction will be written and then the horizontal. So we'll have northeast, northwest, we have southeast, southwest. This is how they are named. The angle between two cardinal directions is also 90 degrees. So the angle between two cardinal directions is also 90 degrees. So if I say this angle is also 90 degrees. Okay. Now, the angle between one main and one cardinal direction is 45 degrees. So this angle here is 45 degrees. But there is a crux which you need to know. Okay. When I am talking about the north, south, east or west, then they are strictly along these lines only. This is the north, this is the east, this is the west, and this is the south. But if I am talking about the northeast is not specifically only on this line. Rather, the northeast is depicted by this complete quadrant. This complete quadrant here is northeast. This complete quadrant is northwest, southwest, southeast. So any point here will be considered in the northeast as compared to this origin point. Okay. So that is the first type of direction which you need to be careful about, which you need to be aware about. The second type of direction is in the direction of clock. Supposedly this was a clock. Okay. So if this was, let's say this was 12, this was 3, this was 6, this was 9. So how do the hands of a clock move? In what direction? If it is 12 PM right now, how will the hands of a clock move further? They will move always in this direction and they'll continuously keep moving in this direction, right? So this direction is known as a clockwise direction. This direction, movement in this manner, that is first north, then east, then south, then west, that is clockwise. And if I am moving against the clock, see, before 12, I mean after 12 I cannot have 11, 10, 9, so the clock is never going to work like this. So this is opposite the clock, also known as anti-clockwise. So from north if you go to west, south, east, if in this direction if you are traveling, then it is anti-clockwise, this direction it is clockwise. Be careful about this. This is the second method of expression of directions. So first method is this, second is this. You need to be aware about these two. And the third one is the most important actually. Of course, everything is important. But the third one is the primary place where students make mistakes. Hi Dinesh, good evening. Primary pointer where students make errors is here. Okay. So the third case is left right. Now, as far as left right is concerned, left right changes with the changes of where I am facing, the direction of where I am facing. If I am facing you right now, for me this is the left, this is the right. Okay, maybe for you it is appearing laterally inverted. If I am facing here right now, this is the left, this is the right. If I am facing here right now, this is the left, this is the right. Okay, so wherever my face will be, my left and right will accordingly change. So how do I remember it easily if I am drawing a diagram? The easy way to remember is wherever I will draw an arrow, I will assume my head to be in that direction. So my left hand in that case will depict the left direction. My right hand will depict the right direction because my hands are not going to change the direction anyway. So if I am facing the north, this will be the left for me, this will be the right for me. If I am facing the east, this will be the left for me, this will be the right for me. If I am facing the south, this will be the left, this will be right. See, for north and south, they will just get flipped instantly. So be careful. And if I am facing the west, again west and east, they will get flipped. So this is the left, this is the right. That's how it works. So left and right will change according to the face direction of my face. Wherever my face will be pointed, left and right will accordingly change. So these three categories of directions need to be clear in your head before we start understanding what exactly is the topic and how do we need to proceed. Okay, we have still not started officially. This is just some prerequisites which I am sharing with you. Okay. Now, so the next method now, we are learning the method, we will start learning the method, that is path tracing. Now, in path tracing, normally what happens is directions comes under the category of questions of logical reasoning, where there are a set of instructions given, you converted that into form of a figure because it becomes easier to decipher, easier to understand, and then you answer the question. It is like blood relations or maybe some other topic of that category, right? A puzzle, sitting arrangement. Now here you need to trace a path as per given in the question. The question will tell you that somebody is traveling a path, you will trace that path and accordingly you will find out the direction in the distance. Okay. So path tracing is done in two methods, in two ways. First is the square of the rectangle method. Second is the Pythagoras theorem method. Okay. Now I'll just give you a brief example about both of them. Suppose there is a person who is starting from his house. So we'll draw the person's house, house. And this person is moving 150 meters in the north. So where will the north be from this direction? I told you on paper in 2D, north will be always on the top. So north will be here. So the person will move 150 meters in the north. Okay. Now from here the person will take a right turn and move 100 meters. Okay. When the person is going to take a right turn from here, so the face is in this direction of the arrow. If the face is this direction, right is here, left is here. Okay. So person is going to go here, right 100 meters. So 100 meters. Now remember, our figures will be drawn always to scale. What does this imply? This implies that if I am drawing a line of 150 meters, okay, and then I have to draw a line of 100 meters, that line has to be shorter than 150 meters, slightly. Okay. I am not saying exactly to scale, I am not saying that you have to find the ratio and all, but it has to be roughly to scale so that your direction is not incorrect. Distance will always be correct, but directions might get incorrect if you draw in, uneven lines. Okay, from here he takes another right and goes for 50 meters. If he is taking another right here, the face is here, so right will be here, and 50 meters is roughly half of 100 here. So we will draw a line like this. Okay, from here again he is taking a right and going 100 meters. So this is how he is going here, and this is his final point. This point F, this is point his house and final point. Now the questions, how will the questions be asked? Question number 1 will be, at what distance and in which direction is he now from the starting point? So this is your reference point, you have to calculate from here. Or the reverse question will be, in which direction and at what distance is his house from his current location? So this becomes a reference point and you have to find here. Okay. So let's see what can be done about this. So when we look at the question carefully, what do we come across? We instantly say, a lot of people say this, that this is 50 meters. My question to you is why? So the answer is, because this was north, this is technically the east, south, west. So basically each main angle has an angle of 90 degree between them. So this is a quadrilateral with all 4 angles as 90 degrees. So it is a rectangle for sure. And also opposite sides will be equal. So this is 100, 100, this is 50, this has to be 50. But each time you don't have to calculate like this. This is the principle behind this. So now you will simply just, carry forward the lengths. So if this is 50, the whole is 150, you know that this distance is 100 meters. Okay. For reference directions, whatever the reference point is, I can just draw a plus sign there representing a quadrant or a coordinate axis. And from this as an origin point, I can see that it's in the north. So he is currently 100 meters in the north of his house, or he is currently 100 meters to the south of his current location. Sorry, his house is 100 meters to the south of his current location. These are the two major questions that will be asked. The third most important question which is asked here is, in which direction is he currently facing? Remember, in which direction is he currently standing from his house is a different question, and in which direction is he currently facing is a different question. Remember, don't confuse there. Whenever the word from is used, you have to have a point of reference. From there, they are asking you the direction. But whenever it is simply asking you where is the person facing, then in that case, your last arrow is going to help you. So this arrow depicts in which direction is he moving, and the person is just a peg basically. So you are, whatever your instruction tells, whatever your instruction points out, that is the only direction what he will move. He has no free will. So if in the end you made him stand here, he will stand here looking in the same direction which he was in the final end. So that will make sure that this is west. So what was the answer? The answer is west. Okay. In which direction is he pointing? He is pointing towards the west. Cool. Now let's proceed to the other type. The other type is Pythagoras theorem. Under Pythagoras theorem, let's say the person now again starts a new journey from his house. Also remember, always label these points, because these points sometimes are involved in your questions directly. So you need to recognize which point was which. And he goes 30 meters in the north. Okay. And then he takes a right turn and goes 40 meters. Okay. And he stops here. This is the final point. Now they are asking you what is the distance between his house and the final point. A lot of newcomers mark 70 as the correct answer, that the distance is 70 meters, 30 meters, 40 meters. Those who are seasoned, they already know what is the answer here. So whenever it will ask you the distance in this case, it is not interested in this distance. That is already given in the question. What's the point of asking? The examiner is interested in this distance. Now this distance can be called as the shortest distance between the points, the minimum distance between the points, or the aerial distance between the points. Either of these words implies the same thing. Even if the question is not using any word, and if the figure is somewhat of this sort, you will always assume this distance to be the question. Okay. So basically in this figure, if I see, again north and east, so this is a 90 degree. So this becomes a right angle triangle. Opposite 90 is the hypotenuse. So I simply have to apply the Pythagoras theorem. Simple. So what do? I'll say 40 square plus 30 square under the root will give me my answer. So that is 1600 plus 900 under the root, that is 2500 under the root, which is 50. So my answer now is 50. Easy. Done. But we don't even have the luxury of this much time in your exam. Okay. If at all there is a triplet where you will not be able to remember anything by default and you have to solve it, that's a different case. But otherwise, we can remember sets of 3 numbers which are always following this category, this equation, this theorem. So we call them Pythagorean triplets. I am very sure under quant you have already studied this for your geometry part, triangles, right? If not, you can still remember this, and I have given you a very simple list which is useful for directions in reasoning. For quant, you can extend this further. Okay. So these are some set Pythagorean triplets, common Pythagorean triplets, which are usually used in to form your questions. And here, if you observe, these two are the normal smaller sides. This is the largest side. So this is the hypotenuse always. So if any of these two are the smaller sides, the third one is going to be the hypotenuse. You have to remember this. Remember this complete list. Now, what is the good thing about this list is if you pick up any triplet, let's say I picked up 3, 4, 5. That means 3 square plus 4 square is equal to 5 square. In that case, if I multiply it with the same number, the resultant will also be a triplet. And that is why in the previous question, we could have directly written 50. Okay, anything, you pick up 7, 24, 25. Multiplied by 2. You will get 14, 48, 50. That will also be a Pythagorean triplet. Okay. So this will help you to reach your answers much faster. Now 60 to 70% of your questions which will be asked in directions are already covered. We have already done them, we have already covered them. Right? Path tracing is the most common method which will be used in direction based questions. This is the next method, that is a shadow based question. Now I will explain to you in complete details, okay, and then I'll also tell you how to approach this question in the exam. So in a shadow based question, the question is in multiple parts. You have to read the question in multiple parts. The question will always begin with a set of keywords, okay. The keywords will be like, they will use the words like morning, or maybe they'll use the word sunrise, or maybe they'll give you a time in the morning, early morning, okay. Or on the other hand, they might use the word evening, or they might use the word sunset, or they might give you a time in the evening, okay. Now first and foremost, what do we understand from these words, from these keywords? The first thing is that they are telling you the direction of the sun. This is solely based on the principle that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. So if it is early in the morning, or it is time of sunrise, or it is the time is given, you will get your sun, S-U-N, sun, to be in the east. And if it is in the evening, time of sunset, or 6 p.m, the time is given, then your sun will be in the west, okay. Sun rises in the east, sets in the west. Mostly it is only going to talk to you about morning or evening only. It is never going to talk about another specific time. Let's say it will not ask you at 11 a.m. because the sun has already crossed the east barrier by 11 a.m. And now that becomes a quant question, that if it moves in by this much degree in this much time, then by 11 a.m. that is in the next, let's say if the sunrise happened at 6 a.m. in the next 5 hours it has moved by this much angle. So this is now my new angle of elevation. So then I will solve accordingly. That's a totally different concept. That question goes to quant then. But right now we are talking about logical reasoning. So it will either talk to you about early in the morning when the sun is in the east, or late in the evening when the sun is in the west. It will not even talk to you about noon because there are no shadows at noon. Technically at noon your sun will be here on the top above your head. So there will be apparently there will be no shadows. So we don't consider that also. So these are the set of keywords. So this is the first information which you got. The next part of the question will tell you that there are two people who are either walking towards each other, walking in a park, strolling, sitting, anything. But there are two people, okay. So let's say there are two people here, or let's say there are two people here. Now I have drawn them differently. In one case they are facing each other, and in the other case they are facing opposite to each other, okay. So that is how the question will tell you that two people, they are facing each other, okay, or they are facing opposite to each other. That is, they are sitting with their backs towards each other. They are walking away, sitting with their back towards each other, or they are walking towards each other, sitting facing each other. Anything can be said, okay. So now the question will tell you another additional instruction, another additional information. After giving you this information, they'll talk to you about these two people. They will name these two people, but you will not know who is who. And they'll give you one statement. For example, if I tell you these two are A and B, I don't know who is A, I don't know who is B. So the question is telling me that it is early in the morning at sunrise, 6 a.m. There are two people who are sitting with their backs towards each other in a park, A and B. The shadow of A falls to the left of B. The shadow of A falls to the left of B. So these are the set of instructions. You got the keywords, you got the two people, you know an extra information that the shadow of one person is falling to the left of the other person. With that, you have to identify who is who. That is your first part. And the second part is to answer the actual question. The actual question will be, if this all is true, in which direction is B facing? This is the question, okay. So what all information will you gather from here now? You will say that if my sun is in the east, it's early morning, the light source is here, that means my sun rays are coming from this direction. See, all this drawing I am doing it for you here so that you understand, but you don't have to draw this in the exam. In the exam everything has to happen here. You can only draw this at max. Now when the sun rays are coming from there, where will the shadows form? If this is the object, the light is coming from here, the shadow is going to form here. So the shadow is going to form here and here for both of them. Don't go into deep science, okay. Total layman language. Now I told you the shadow of A falls to the left of B. This person's shadow, this one, falls to this person's right hand side. Correct? This is the left for him, this is the right for him, this is the left for him, this is the right for him. So shadows are falling to the left of who? To this guy. So the shadow of A falls to the left of B. So now I know this is B and this is A. And my question is, in which direction is B facing? So now I know B is facing the north. And where is A facing? A is facing the south. So that is how I answer this question. Okay. Now let's look at this question. What are they saying? They are saying at 6:15 p.m. that is in the evening. Sun is in the west. Ruchi and Dolly are standing face to face in a park. Okay. If the shadow of Dolly falls to the right of Ruchi. Okay. So where will be the light source? This is the light source. Rays are coming from here. If the rays are coming from here, where will the shadows form? The shadows will be here. So the shadow of Dolly falls to the right of Ruchi. For this person it's the right. So right of Ruchi, this is Dolly. Correct? Which direction is Ruchi facing? Now this is where you went wrong, Dinesh. You said south. Ruchi is definitely sitting in the south. No doubts about that. Ruchi is definitely sitting in the south, Dolly is sitting in the north. But Ruchi is facing the north. Ruchi is facing the north. In which direction is Ruchi facing? Ruchi is facing the north. Dolly is facing the south. Dolly is sitting in the north, facing the south. Ruchi is sitting in the south, facing the north. So my answer will be north. Now a few questions come up here. Correct. Good. A few questions come up here from students. Yeah, you are not asking, but I know students ask this commonly. Question number 1. Why only facing each other or with their backs towards each other? Why can't I have a person, those who are facing like this or like this? So the problem is, in both these cases, your shadows will be in the same direction only. Means there is no left and right for any one particular person. I am not saying they can't ask you like this, but then it becomes useless. You can't identify who is who because everything will be same for the both of them. So they'll never ask you pointing in the same direction. Technically, they will always be in the opposite direction only. See, if he is facing the south, D is facing the south, R is facing the north. If B is facing the north, A is facing the south. They will always be facing in opposite directions only. But either towards each other or opposite to each other. Okay. And the next question which a lot of students ask is that why, when the question said that they are facing each other or towards their backs, with their backs towards each other, why didn't you draw them like this? Why only like this? The sun could have been here in the east and they could have been sitting like this also. What's the problem? The problem is then the shadow will never be in the left or right. If your shadow is talking about left or right, this is the only arrangement. If your shadow talks about front and back, which is very seldom, very rare, then your arrangement will be of this sort. So the rays will be coming from here. This guy's shadow will be in the front and this guy's shadow will be at the back. Okay. So that is why if the shadow talks about front and back, then you can draw this figure. Otherwise, this is also not considered. Cool. So that's all about your shadow based questions. Now in your examination, of course, you don't have to draw this. You don't have to draw anything. You simply have to draw this line and understand your left and right clearly. That's it. So if I draw the same question again, let's say Ruchi and Dolly are standing face to face in a park. So they are standing face to face in a park in the evening. So the sun rays are coming from here. Shadow of Dolly falls to the right of Ruchi. So the shadows are going to fall here. Now what is right? Right is this side only. For who this is the right? For this person. This is Ruchi, this is Dolly. Done. Your question is done. You can answer your question and done. Be done with it. Okay. So that's how you'll approach it in the exam. All this diagrammatic representation has already been done, only been done so that you understand better. The next type is the angle based type. Okay. For angle based questions, your question will be something of this sort. A person will be starting from a particular direction. Let's say here the man is facing towards the east. So man is facing towards the east. Now the question will give you multiple angular movements. 135 anti-clockwise, 45 anti-clockwise, then 90 clockwise. And they've only given you 3 angles here, but they can be multiple angles. They can be up to 5 to 6 angles. So you can't just keep doing this to get your answer, no? And you might end up making an error or maybe spending a lot of time. So what is the correct approach here? You will always convert this into a table. You will, rather than moving all these movements, you will just find a single movement. So all your clockwise entries in this column, all your anti-clockwise entries in this column. So let's see, 135 anti-clockwise, 45 anti-clockwise and 90 clockwise. That's it. Remember, if there is the same number in both these categories, just cancel it out. If there was a 90 clockwise also, we would have just cancelled this. Now add them, vertically add them. So this is 180 and this is 90. Subtract smaller from larger. So 180 minus 90 becomes 90. And take the direction of the larger value. So that is clockwise. So this is my single net movement. This is my single net movement. That is, rather than moving these multiple angular movements, I am just moving one time in this direction. Okay, and I can get my answer. So if the person is here, oh sorry, my bad. This is anti-clockwise and this is clockwise. So this is 90 degree anti-clockwise. This is the single net movement. So if the person is facing the east and he has to move 90 degree anti-clockwise, what will be anti-clockwise? It will be in this direction and 90 degrees like this. So now he will be facing the north. So my answer will become north. That's how easy this is. Just convert this into a table and get your single net movement and answer accordingly. Okay. From here, I want to highlight another important point for you guys. That is angular turns. Okay, I'll write default 90 degree. So in my question, if it suddenly says that the person is moving in so many meters and then turning a right or turning left, so we simply turn them like this. Supposedly if I am talking to you like this, that a person is moving north 10 meters and then they have taken a right and then they have gone 20 meters. So then you will automatically turn him here. Then they have taken a left and 30 meters. So then you will automatically turn here. So what are you doing? Wherever the person is facing, you will accordingly decide left and right and keep moving. But technically you are making a 90 degree turn, no? So by 90 degrees by default. Okay. How did you get this 90 degree? How did you get this 90 degree? Let me show that to you. So let's say a person is going from a point A. A person has started his journey going 10 meters north. Okay, so I am moving him 10 meters north. From here, he is taking a right turn and going 20 meters. Now, how do I turn a right? So technically, the question will become like this. In whatever direction I was supposed to move further will become my base. This will become my base. From here, I have to turn a right. So right will be this side, left will be this side. Okay. So I have to turn a right and go 20 meters. And nothing is given, so default turn is 90 degrees. So I'll just draw 90 degree, keeping this as the base towards the right. So this is going to be my 90 degree. And this person will go 20 meters to reach this point. Okay, so that is why I directly turn it like this, because not this angle, but this angle has to be 90. Okay, got it? Now the question changes. Now I am telling you that he further goes 135 meter to the left. 135 meters to the left. And let's say he goes another 10 meters. Now when I say 135 meters, that becomes problematic for a lot of students because they don't understand this concept. So I have already told you, baseline, this will extend. Okay. From here, this is the left, this is the right. He is going 135 meters in the left. So from here, from the base, you will draw 135 meters. And you will take him to the left. So it will be somewhere like this. From the base, keeping this as a turn, you will mark 135 degrees to the left, and this is how he will turn. Okay, and he'll go, let's say 10 more meters here. Right? Now from here, he takes another right at 45 degrees. Another right at 45 degrees and goes for 30 meters. So from here he is taking another right at 45 degrees. So again we will increase this as the baseline, and right means this side 45 degrees. So this much. So he will turn this much 45 degrees and he will move forward to reach 30 meters more, and he will end up at this point. This is point B. So this has been his journey. Okay, this has been his journey. So if you are just talking about left and right, that is pretty simple. You can post it, you can draw it without any problem. You can trace it without any issue. But the moment angular turns come into picture, angles of this sort, then for a lot of students it becomes difficult. So if you approach it in this way, you will be able to understand better what is my baseline and how do I have to turn. For a lot of people, 135 degree turn means this. So they say that this is 135 degree, but this is not 135 right. Your turn always has to be with this base. So this is just 45 degree turn. Okay, so you will end up marking it incorrectly if you don't know how to turn angularly. Right? So that's it. We'll stop here today. So as far as the theory is concerned, that's all for directions which I have to share with you. Tomorrow I'll be getting very good questions, a good mix of questions, some previous year, some normal practice questions. Some will be of good level, will be calculative, some will be very direct and easy. So you can approach it that way and we'll be able to terminate the concept tomorrow, right? Tomorrow while we are solving the questions, I'll tell you some more things which you can, just make a note of. If you are comfortable, you can remember that also. Things like, if it is only asking you the direction, not the distance, direction of facing in the end. So they will tell you that a person is moving 100 meters north, then taking a right, going 20 meters right, then taking a left, going 30 meters, then taking another right, going 50 meters. Where is he facing now? So in these cases, you don't actually have to, so make the figure. You can do it while making the figure also, but you can actually just do it verbally. So each time you make a left plus right or right plus left movement, your movement gets cancelled. Because if you are facing a particular direction, you are taking a right and then a left, you will still face the same direction, or you are taking a left and a right, you are still facing the same direction. So this will help you only when you are looking at if the question is asking you in which direction is he finally facing. Then you can simply cancel out LR, LR, LR. Wherever left, right comes, cancel out. Wherever left and left or right and right comes, keep adding the movements. Okay, so you can immediately, just by reading the question, you can get your final direction. So I'll show that to you once or twice when we are doing the questions. That ways you can solve it, maybe you can save a second or two here or there. But again, that is your choice. I don't do that personally. Personally, I recommend to use figures only, because one method fits all is actually the best method. I don't want different methods for each type. That wastes time. Okay. Let's keep it at 30 only. Okay. 40 is too much. So this is, all the questions are based on what we have learned yesterday, and they will cover all the major types of questions. You will see one extra type of question which I will show you, where just the type of question has changed. Just the way of it is asked is changed, but the logic, the concept remains the same. Okay. Now the question is again about the shadow based concept, right? So Vineet and Sumit are standing in a park facing each other, okay, at the time of sunrise. So we know that rays are coming from here. If the shadow of Vineet falls to the left of Sumit, so shadows will be falling here, left of Sumit. So this is Sumit, Sumit's left, that's the only case possible. So this is Sumit, this is Vineet, that's it. Because for this person, the shadows are on the right, okay. Which direction is Sumit facing? Sumit is facing the north, that's it, we are done. Option C is the right answer. Move it, next question. That's how quick you can be here. Okay, yesterday while understanding the concept, a lot of people might have felt that, oh my god, what is this? But actually it's not that difficult. Next. Hi Dinesh, good evening. Correct. Hi Amrendra, very good. Shabash. Good job. Okay, so this is Rohan is facing the west. Okay, he's facing the west, and we'll draw the table clockwise, anti-clockwise. He is going 45 clockwise, then 180 clockwise, and then he is going 225 anti-clockwise. If you add them, this is 225, this is 225, net effect is 0. If it is 0, he is still at the west. So what will be the final direction? It is west. Clear? That's how quick we can be. Next. Again, another angular movement question. No, not south. It was north, Dinesh. Sorry, west. Yes, Amarendra is correct. Very good. Now see, Sumit is facing the northeast. Okay, Sumit is facing the northeast. And again, so we'll have another table, clockwise, anti-clockwise. He is going 90° clockwise. After that, he turns 135 anti-clockwise, and then he turns 90° clockwise again. Okay, which direction is he now? So add them, you will get 180° clockwise and 135 anti-clockwise. So larger minus smaller, so we'll get 45, and the direction of the larger, so 45 clockwise. This is your single net movement. So from here, Sumit is going 45 clockwise. So here, that is in the east. Where is he facing now? He is facing the east. So option D is the correct answer. Clear? No. Dinesh, what are you doing? Wait, did you understand this now or not? You tell me. I will only proceed further if you have understood this. Acha, now the option only is deleted. Okay, cool. Done? Next. See, if you don't understand, then the whole purpose gets defeated. So it's better that you try to, you can ask me. If I am not here to come and, just solve the questions and go back home. I am doing that assuming that you are already understanding. You have to let me know in the chat box whether you are getting it or not. Okay, good, perfect. And don't be ashamed of giving answers. I am very happy that, you guys are participating. Even if they are wrong, no problem. We are here to rectify them and, correct them. That is how we learn. Okay. Now, one morning after sunrise, again, sunrise means sun rays are coming from here in the east. Sun is in the east. Ram and Arnav are sitting in a garden with their backs towards each other. We don't know who is Ram, we don't know who is Arnav. Ram's shadow fell exactly towards his left hand side. This time, the shadow is not towards anybody else, according to anybody else's direction. It's according to his own direction. Now, since the sun is here, the rays are coming, the shadows will be here. Now, to his left, the shadow is there, but to his right, the shadow is there. We are saying Ram's left, the shadow is falling. So, this is Ram, this is Arnav. Now, the question is asking us in which direction was Arnav facing? Arnav is facing the south. Arnav is facing the south. Okay. Done? Yeah, now I am not getting answers. This is not done, guys. I am happy when you are giving me answers. Keep giving me answers. Okay. Don't worry. Even if you are wrong, not a problem. This is the question I was talking to you about. This is coded directions, similar to coded blood relations. We have learnt about coded blood relations already on this very channel. Coded blood relations, similarly coded directions. There is nothing new. You have to approach it with the same way. Okay. Just remember, if they are not talking about the distance, assume the distance to be same. Draw an equal length of line between them to trace the figure. Okay. I'll give you 40 seconds here so that you can take some more time and understand this gradually and give me the answer. Correct, Dinesh. Very good, bacha. Now try this one. Okay, see, these are the codes given to you and this is the expression. Okay, how T is in which direction with respect to M? So, M minus V. M minus V means M is to the east of V. So, if this is V, M is to its east. Equal direct distance. Okay. Now keep the distance same everywhere. V cross L. V into L. V is to the north of L. V is to the north of L. L percent T. L percent T. L is to the west of T. So L is to the west of T. Equal distances. Now they are asking T is in which direction with respect to M. So with respect to M, where is T? T is in the south. So option C is the correct answer. Cool. So even if it is coded directions, not a problem. You can approach it with a similar concept. All you need is a concept. If you're thorough with the concept, nothing else is going to bother you. Point B is in the west of point C. This is C. B is in the west at a distance of 16 meters. Who? Point C is at a distance of 16. Point B is in the, oh God, what am I doing? Point B is in the west of point C at a distance of 16 meters. Who? That means C is in the north of D at a distance of 9 meters. Point D is in the east of point E at a distance of 16 meters. So E is here, 16 meters again. Who is, again, E is in the north of F at a distance of 17 meters. Okay. What is the distance of point C with respect to F? What is the direction of point C with respect to F? So when they're asking me the direction, again, plus sign and here. So this is northeast. Northeast, option A is the correct answer. Cool. Done. Next. Okay, a child is looking for his father. He went 90 meters in the east. He went 90 meters in the east before turning to his right. Okay, so now he is turning right and he went 20 meters before turning to his right again. So he went 20 meters and then he took a right again. Okay, to look for his father at his uncle's place 30 meters from this point. So he's taken a right now again and he's reached 30 meters here. And this is his uncle's place. Okay. He's looking for his father, but he's not able to find him here. Now the question says his father was not there. From here he went 100 meters to his north before meeting his father. So he went 100 meters. So this is 20 plus 80. Always calculate this midway only, 20 plus 80 like this. Calculate it like this in your head so that you know what is the difference. Before meeting his father in a street. So he met his father here and this was his starting point. Okay. The question is asking you at what distance did the son meet his father from the starting point? How far? So this is the distance they are asking you. Okay. So this distance, this complete thing is 90. This is 30. Subtract 30 from 90, you will get 60 here. And this complete is 100 minus 20. So we'll get how much? 80 here. So this is nothing but a triangle like this. 80, 60. And this is what? The triplet 6, 8, 10. So 60, 80, 100. Our answer will be option. Oh, sorry. Option B is the right answer. Okay. Next. This is a very good question. I'll give you 40 seconds for this. This will help you with the angular turns. I told you I'll bring in good questions for directions today. And I don't know why some people think good means undoable. You can't have those questions. No, that's you. It's worthless to practice those questions. Okay. So Karan is racing towards the south and moves straight 2 kilometers. Okay. So Karan has started his race and he's moved south 2 kilometers. From there it turned to his right 90 degrees. Okay. 90 degrees right. And traveled 2 kilometers. Okay. Traveled another 2 kilometers. Then he took a 135-degree turn to his left and traveled 1 kilometer. So now how do we take a 135-degree turn from here? So we already know that now. From here we let him go straight. And left means this side, right means this side. Okay. So left he is going 135 degree. 135 means at from here we will construct an angle of 135 degree. So where will he go? He will go like this. But only for 1 kilometer. And he will stop here. This is his final destination. Where would he be now with respect to his starting point? Where is he now with respect to his starting point? So if this is the starting point, I'll draw a plus sign here and I'll see where is he. He is in the southwestern direction, southwestern region. Option D is the right answer. Okay, southwestern region. Got it? So that is how interesting these turns become. Next. Bablu is in the northeast of Kamlu. So this is Kamlu. Bablu is in the northeast of Kamlu. Who is in the northwest of Pinku? So Kamlu is in the northwest of Pinku. Pinku is in the south of Bablu. Who is in the west of Rahman? Pinku is in which direction of Rahman? So for Rahman, Pinku will be again in the southwest, sorry. Option A is the right answer. Next. Pythagoras theorem. I'll give you 40 seconds here. Question is very easy. Just that. Hit the like button, share the session, guys. And if you are new around here, subscribe to the channel right away. Okay. So Rani went to her office by Activa. She goes 10 meters south from her house. Okay. 10 meters south. And turn left and goes 50 meters. Turn right and move 20 meters. And finally turn right and goes 100 meters to reach her office. So 50 and 50 more. So this is her office, this is her home. They are asking you this distance. Obviously you will join this. This will become a right angle triangle. 10 plus 20 is 30. And 100 minus 50 is 50. You're lucky that they don't have 40 here. Otherwise in a haste, a lot of people mark 40 as the answer. See, 3, 4, 5 is a triplet, but there 5 is the hypotenuse. So 50 has to be here only. Okay. So now you'll have to find this out. So how will you find this out? By Pythagoras theorem. So 30 square plus 50 square. That's 3400 square root. So that's 100 root will come out 10. 10 root 34. That's it. So the answer is option C. Clear? Next. Okay, point A is 10 meter west of B. So if this is B, point A is 10 meter west of B. Point C is 10 meter north of B and 5 meter west of D. Point D is 20 meter south from point D. So 10 and 10 more. And 10 meter east of F. So this is 5 here and 5 more here. So F. Point G is 15 meter north of F. So this is 15. So this is 10 plus 10. So 10 and 5. So it will be somewhere here. G is 15 meter north of F. What is the distance between point G and C? Wow, great question. Distance between point G and C. This is the distance they are looking for. This is the triangle they are looking for. Okay. In this triangle, this is 20 and this is 15. So we are having 5 here, and this is this distance is 10 and this is 5. So this is 5 here. This is the triangle they are looking for. This distance. It is 5 root 2. Simple quantitative aptitude. No calculations required. 5 square plus 5 square under the root is 5 root 2. Next. Okay. Now in this question, we'll first do it with the figure only. In the morning, Gopalachari started walking, positioning his back towards the sun. Okay. So that means Gopalachari is walking in the west direction. The sun is here in the east. Okay. After some time, he took a left turn. Okay. Then he took a right turn. And then again he took a left turn. Finally, he took a right turn. Which direction is he facing now? So the answer is what? West. The answer is west. This was pretty easy. Even if you draw the figure, it's not difficult. But I had told you yesterday that when I will show you the question, I will tell you at that time there is another short trick where you don't even have to draw the figure for such questions, where only the direction is important, the distance is not. If they are asking you the distance, then it is better that you draw the figure, because sometimes in distance calculation errors can happen. But as far as only direction is concerned, then what you can do is always remember, if there is a left plus right, or right plus left movement, that is, first the person is turning right, then the person is turning left, or first the person is turning left, then the person is turning right. They are always going to point in the same directions. So opposite movements are always going to get cancelled. You will always cancel them. Net movement is 0. Okay. Left and right basically means 90 degree clockwise, 90 degree anti-clockwise. So they both will get cancelled. And if there are two lefts, left plus left, or right plus right, then that will get added. That will get added. Added means if I am taking, I will start with my direction left and left. So left and left, then I know that it is in the opposite direction. Okay. So left and left means 180 degree turns. 180 degree turns. So this I will write it here. So this is 0 degree and this is 180 degree. Okay. So if I am saying left, right, and if it is only left or right, if only one single left or single right is there, then this implies a 90 degree turn. Okay. Now, if I am telling you that the person is starting from a direction, let's say north, and he is going first left, then right, then left, then right, then left, then left, then right. Now what is going to happen? Okay, where is he going to face? So you will say left and right get cancelled, left and right get cancelled. He is still facing the north. From the north, he is going twice left. So that is, he is going 180 degrees anti-clockwise. So now he is towards the south. Left, left, he is towards the south. And now he is going right. So from south, if he is going right, so he is basically going in the west. Or you could have also cancelled this left and right in the end. So he is only going one left from the north, that is in the west. So your answer will be west. These kind of questions, if only left-right movement is mentioned and the distance is not important, then you may avoid making the figure, right? So in this case, if we study it now, Gopalachari started walking, positioning his back towards the sun. That means he started in the west. He is now facing in the west. Now he is moving. He took a left turn, then he took a right turn, then he took a left turn, finally took a right turn. Okay. So what is exactly happening? Left, right, cancel, left, right, cancel. Where is he facing? He is still facing the west only. Got it? You can use this technique, but I will always teach you things. I am not against teaching anything, but I always recommend my students, even if you would have done it with this method, no, you would end up saving only a second at max. Okay, if you are very fast with drawing your figures, you will not face a problem. So I have given you this extra point here, but I would suggest stick to one method for all questions. Don't have different methods for different questions. That is only going to cause ambiguity. All right, next. Similar question now you can do. Calendar I haven't yet taken on YouTube. I will plan that soon, don't worry. So I have started topic wise because you guys have asked me to. So I will reach calendars also. Calendars, clocks, I'll teach you everything. Okay, again, Ram walks 10 kilometers south, then turns right, travels to 25 south. So in which direction is he facing now? So distance does not matter here. They're just giving you the distance to confuse you. In which direction is he facing? If he is started from south. Okay. Now he is turning right. Then he turns south. So if he is turning a right from here, then he's turning south again. So that means he's taking a left. Afterwards turns to his east. So he's taking a left again and covers and took a left turn. He takes a left again. Which direction Ram is facing now? So this will get cancelled and left and left. So from south, if you go left and left, you will go in the north. Okay, north should be my answer. Now let me quickly check it with the figure also. So Ram walks 10 kilometers south, then turns right and travels 25 kilometers, then turns south and covers 10 kilometers. Afterwards turns to the east and covers 10 kilometers and took a left turn. Which direction is he facing now? He is facing the north. Okay. So either which ways you can approach the question and get your answer. Okay. But as I told you again, restricted only for these cases. Jyoti travels 15 kilometers towards south. Then takes a left turn and travels 10 kilometers. Further again she takes a left turn and travels 15 kilometers. Further, how far is she from the original position? I told you 1 or 2 questions can be actually easy. Option B is the right answer. Okay. Are? This is also a good question. Okay. See, Kangana walks 30 meters eastward and took a left turn. Okay. She moves 30 meters eastward and then took a left turn. Moves 45 meters, then took a right turn and walked 20 meters and took a left and goes 15 meters to reach a shop. Okay, this is maybe her home and this is her shop. She goes back to her starting point from the shortest way. So she goes back to the starting point from here. The question is how much total distance she covered. A lot of students end up only marking this as the answer. That's not true. You have to find out the total distance. That means starting from here, she went to the shop and then she came back. The total distance you need to find out. And in which direction with respect to her starting point is the shop. So shop is in which direction with respect to her starting point. So if this was the starting point, the shop is in the northeast. So we know that these two answers will not be possible. Okay. Now a lot of students make another mistake. They will take these two right angle triangles, find the hypotenuse and add. No. Okay, never do that. Complete this right angle triangle. So this is 15, this is 45. So this whole thing will become 60. And this is 20, this is 30. So this whole thing will become 50. Now apply Pythagoras theorem. So what will you get? So you will get 50 square okay. So this is 6100. So this is 10 root 61. Now this distance is 10 root 61, but I didn't want to find this. I want to find the total, right? So what is the total? The total is she's going 30, 45, 20, 15. So basically 60 and 50 plus 10 root 61. That is 110 plus 10 root 61. So what will I do? I'll take 10 common. So I'll have 11 plus root 61. Which option justifies this? In the northeast, 10 plus into 11 plus. Option A is the right answer. Just slightly calculative. That's it. The question is very easy. Alright, and this is your bonus question. This is your bonus question. So you can take a screenshot here and put the answers in the chat box. Okay, take the screenshot here, solve this question, put the answers in the chat box. Right. So on that note, I'll end the direction session here. These were a few questions for practice of directions. I'll see you guys in the next week now for where we'll discuss the mock test solutions in the initial few days of the week and then probably bring another topic-wise session in the end of the week. Thank you so much for joining live, guys. Do share the video, subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Bye-bye. Namaskar.